Chapter 261. A quick retreat and an unexpected shield. The battlefield serpent turtle's defense was ridiculously high, bolstered to its dual immunity traits. Lin Moyu fought fiercely and even employed the enhanced troop's skill and gradually wore down its health. But just when victory seemed within reach, the boss activated its shell block skill, nullifying all his efforts in an instant. Frustration gripped Lin Moyu. It felt like the boss was cheating. The creature was already daunting, with its massive health and terrifying attack power. Now, with an absurd recovery skill, continuing the fight seemed pointless. He realized that pushing forward would only waste time and resources. One round with this boss was enough. He had no intention of enduring it again. Resolutely, Lin Moyu led his group to retreat, aware he wasn't ready for this challenge. He could return later when he was stronger. The team quickly withdrew along the path they'd cleared earlier, vanishing from sight in no time. After this encounter, Lin Moyu abandoned the idea of delving deeper into the core area. If a level 64 ordinary boss was this challenging, how could he hope to face higher ranked ones? If he stumbled upon a lord or world rank boss, his undead legions might not survive. This battle made him realize his limitations. At level 33, he was still too weak. Despite his powerful talent and numerous skeletons, he lacked the truly formidable skills needed to face stronger foes. As they retreated, Lin Moyu reflected on the battle. It was his first time withdrawing from a fight. He had always managed to overcome strong bosses before, but this time was different. He just didn't have the confidence. Unlike many legendary rank class users, he didn't possess a game-changing skill that could turn the tide. While Corpse Explosion was powerful, it was severely restricted in the core area. 5 minutes after Lin Moyu's departure, the battlefield serpent turtle ended its shell block skill. It emerged from its shell, extended its limbs, and whipped its long tail against the ground with a thunderous crack. Fully recovered, it roared to the sky, challenging its opponent to come at it again. But when it looked around, Lin Moyu was gone. Enraged, the turtle's roars shook the earth, terrifying nearby monsters and sending some of them fleeing in chaos. Suddenly, a massive shadow swooped down from the sky at lightning speed, covering thousands of kilometers in an instant. Giant talons snatched up the battlefield serpent turtle, and the shadow vanished into the clouds. The turtle's furious bellows turned to terrified screams before abruptly cutting off. Meanwhile, Lin Moyu moved quickly along the cleared path, which made the retreat much faster than the advance. He thought to himself, it shouldn't be able to catch up. But even if it did, he wasn't worried. He was prepared to fight again. Though it would be a waste of time and resources, the battlefield serpent turtle couldn't kill him. Suddenly, a sharp screech made his hair stand on end. A terrifying presence swept overhead, and a massive object crashed into the ground nearby, creating a large pit. Lin Moyu's blood ran cold when he saw what it was, the battlefield serpent turtle's shell. There was no mistaking it, the shell still radiated the creature's aura. But something was wrong. The shell had a huge, gaping hole in it, as if something sharp had violently pierced through it. Upon closer inspection, Lin Moyu confirmed his suspicion. Looking up at the sky, he saw a shimmering light, mysterious and mesmerizing. He imagined the turtle being caught by an even more powerful creature, devoured alive, with its shell spat out afterward. "It's dead," Lin Moyu exclaimed. It was eaten. The sharp screech and terrifying presence had made him feel a threat to his life. If he had encountered that creature, he would have been in enormous danger. He believed he wasn't much stronger than the turtle. Fortunately, he had retreated quickly enough. The shell emitted a soft glow, releasing starlight into the sky before shrinking down and transforming into a shield. The toughest part of the battlefield serpent turtle, which even the mysterious boss couldn't eat, had become a piece of equipment, suggesting its exceptional quality. Shell block shield Knight exclusive platinum ranked shield. All attributes plus 3000, increases the power of Knight-type defensive skills by 90%, decreases physical damage by 20%, and decreases elemental damage by 20%. Supplementary skill, Shell Block. Shell Block. For 30 seconds, the user becomes immobile and immune to all damage. During this time, all wounds are healed, and the cooldowns of all other skills are reset. Cooldown, 1 hour. With these attributes, the shield was a top-tier item among platinum equipment. The supplementary skill alone made it ever Knight's dream, akin to having a second life. The ability to restore health and reset skill cooldowns provided an immense advantage in battle, making it an invaluable asset. Though Lin Moyu wasn't an equipment expert, He knew this shield was invaluable, not for its attributes but for its supplementary skill. Some legendary rank equipment might not even compare. He mused. By the time a user reached level 70, completed the third awakening, and became a top-level class user, their basic attributes would be exceptionally high. Although platinum equipment typically offered a substantial attribute boost, what truly mattered at that level were the gear's supplementary skills. A game-changing skill could be worth more than thousands of attribute points. At this stage, the quality of equipment was measured by their supplementary abilities. I got lucky. Lin Moyu's earlier frustration dissipated, replaced by satisfaction. He knew this shield was priceless, beyond any gold coin's worth. To fully grasp its value, he would need to consult Bai Yiyuan. After storing away the shield, Lin Moyu continued toward the central area. The ground, after a brief tremor, returned to normal. The core area's surface, like an unpolished mirror, reflected a faint glow. It hadn't changed in countless years, and any damage was quickly mended. At the border between the core and central areas, a party of 20 human-class users paused, all wearing the emblem of the Jalan Guild. The group included Sacred Knight, Battle King Support, Great Healer, Great Mage, Eagle Eye Archer, and Great Summoner, all level 58 or above. The leader, Jalan Yeyu, a level 60 Sacred Knight, was fully clad in platinum gear, exuding confidence. However, the most striking member wasn't the leader but another woman. Slender and delicate, she carried a massive platinum maul on her shoulder, a stark contrast to her fragile appearance. Only a collection master would wield such a weapon. This rare and special class, classified as legendary, didn't excel in combat, support, or livelihood, but it had a unique ability, collection. Collection masters could extract additional rewards from monsters, materials or even equipment, effectively doubling the party's gains. Because of this, every party would be happy to welcome a collection master, as their presence could significantly increase the drops. Unfortunately, collection masters were exceedingly rare, making them highly sought after and treasured. Apart from this rare class, the party had another notable trait: it was entirely composed of women. Sister Yeyu, are we really going in? The collection master, Mu Shenxian, asked nervously, eyes fixed on the core area. She had only heard of its dangers, never experiencing them firsthand. Jalan Yeyu chuckled. What, are you scared? Mu Shenxian quickly shook her head. Not at all, not with you leading us. Jalan Yeyu laughed. Indeed, there's nothing to fear. The core area isn't some hellish place. Besides, we're only skimming the edges, not going deep. With our combat power, we can handle a few level 62 or 63 monsters. Even a level 60 boss wouldn't be a problem. Remember, we've taken down a level 55 Lord rank boss, which makes us stronger than many other parties. Her words seemed to boost the party's morale. Originally hesitant, they now felt reassured. Drawing her sword, Jalan Yeyu pointed toward the core area and shouted, "Let's set off." Let's set off. Her teammates echoed. Chapter 262, Are they trying to draw that boss? Jalan Yeyu led her party into the core area, unknowingly entering almost the exact spot as Lin Moyu had before them. It didn't take long for them to realize something was amiss. There were no monsters. The rumors said this was supposed to be a land teeming with beasts, where bosses were common, but after walking for a while, they hadn't encountered a single monster. Leading the group, Jalan Yeyu frowned. Could it be that there are no monsters near the edges? Mu Shenxian suggested softly, maybe we need to go deeper. Yeah, let's head further in. Lin Moyu had been battling his way through the core area for 5 days. But on his return, it took him just over a day to cover the same distance. The monsters had been cleared, and new ones had yet to spawn. After leaving the core area, he decided to explore along its periphery. The demonic dragon hall appeared randomly, but it was found that the closer one was to the core, the higher the chances of encountering it. It's not just humans searching for it, abyssal demons and dragonkind are looking for it too, and their ability to fly gives them an advantage. If one finds it, one might have to fight through them to enter. The demonic dragon hall dungeon, at hell rank difficulty, dropped dragon crystal that could awaken talents. Unlike the divine selection secret realm, which could only be entered once, the demonic dragon hall could be accessed multiple times, making it the site of intense battles whenever it was found. While lost in thought, Lin Moyu spotted figures in the distance. He tensed for a moment before realizing they were human class users, and relaxed slightly. Jalan Yeyu also noticed Lin Moyu. Level 33, alone. Is it some kind of joke? She thought, disbelief oozing out of her eyes. How could someone of such a low level have made it here, especially coming from deeper within the core area? Was he teleported here by chance? Lin Moyu moved quickly, and despite the distance, he was in front of them in the blink of an eye. He paused and glanced at Jalan Yeyu's party, recognizing their emblems from the Jalan Guild. Scanning them and sensing their auras, he issued a flat warning, "Don't go any deeper, it's dangerous." To Jalan Yeyu, it sounded more like, "If you go further, you'll die." Her face darkened, but before she could respond, Lin Moyu had already left. Who was this guy? Jalan Yeyu fumed. Despite being a mere level 33 runt, he had the audacity to be rude to her, a level 60 sacred knight. She wanted to chase him down and teach him a lesson. Mu Shenxian, her eyes filled with curiosity, murmured, why would he be here on the immemorial battlefield? She and several of her teammates watched the direction Lin Moyu had departed. Jalan Yeyu asked, Shenxian, do you know him? Mu Shenxian nodded. His name is Lin Moyu. He recently took first place in the level 20 grouping in the class user competition and set a new record in the unrestricted competition. So it's him. Jalan Yeyu had heard of Lin Moyu's feats. He had become famous for defeating a party of level 50 mages at just level 27, something unheard of. Now, only a few days later, he had reached level 33, an impressive rate of growth. But what truly mattered was his strength. Mu Shenxian continued, back then, he was already stronger than a party of level 50 mages. He's likely even stronger now. Maybe we should. Jalan Yeyu was no fool. Understanding Mu Shenxian's implication, she reconsidered her earlier thoughts. If Lin Moyu had truly entered and then retreated from the core area, his warning should be taken seriously. Let's stay on the edge of the core area. She decided. She didn't want to retreat completely without seeing things for herself but also didn't want to recklessly plunge into danger. Thus, she led her party along the boundary. Lin Moyu had warned Jalan Yeyu's group out of kindness due to his connection with the Jalan Guild. With their current strength, a confrontation with the core area's monsters could be disastrous, and an encounter with a boss might lead to a complete wipeout. Lin Moyu's experience allowed him to predict the likely outcome, and the presence of a terrifying flying boss in the core area, which could attack at any moment, reinforced his caution. For safety's sake, he decided to leave the core area. After exiting the smooth, mirror-like ground of the core area, Lin Moyu sighed in relief. Although the core and center were separated by a fine line, but they were like two different worlds unto themselves. In the center, there were at most level 60 monsters, but they posed no threat to him. I wonder how Sister is doing, he thought to himself. As he proceeded forward, he occasionally glanced toward the outskirts of the immemorial battlefield. It had been 22 days since Lin Mohan had obtained the primordial rune. Given her party's strength, they shouldn't be in any danger in the outskirts, but not being able to see for himself made him worry. Sometimes, he would chide himself for overthinking. Lin Mohan's teacher, a godly expert from the Chuangshan Institute, would undoubtedly have made all the necessary arrangements. Given their ability to even predict the location of the primordial rune, their capabilities were beyond Lin Moyu's imagination, at the very least comparable to those of Bai Yiyuan and Meng Anwen. Bang! A sudden burst of light in the sky caught his attention, temporarily overshadowing the never-changing light of the immemorial battlefield. His mind jolted as he realized, a distress signal. It's coming from the direction of the core area, about 20 kilometers away. I can reach it in 10 minutes. Without hesitation, Lin Moyu rushed toward the signal. It was an unwritten rule among human class users to assist when a distress signal was seen, regardless of the danger. Years ago, demons had exploited distress signals to ambush human class users, causing substantial casualties. This led to widespread hesitation in responding to distress signals due to fears of traps. To prevent such abuses, distress signal transmitters were later replaced with tools that required soul binding. Only the intended user could activate them, and if the user died, the transmitter would automatically deactivate. Since then, there had been no more false distress signals. Just 2 days after leaving the core area, Lin Moyu re-entered it. With his undead legions clearing the path ahead, he pressed forward at a swift pace. Bang! Another distress signal exploded, casting a brilliant light across the mirror-like ground of the core area, illuminating a vast expanse of earth as brightly as day. Idiots! Lin Moyu cursed under his breath. One flare was enough, why launch another? Were they trying to draw that boss? The boss's territory wasn't small, and as a flying type, its speed was likely terrifying. If it found them, he remained on guard, wary of the mysterious flying boss. Bang! A third distress signal flared up. Lunatics! He cursed again. They were practically inviting the boss to come. Within 10 minutes, 10 distress signals had exploded, creating miniature suns that lingered, illuminating a large swath of the core area as if it were day. Lin Moyu had muttered curses at first, but now he didn't bother. Covering the 20 kilometers at full speed, it took him only 10 minutes, dispatching any monsters in his path. Fortunately, this was the edge of the core area and so it wasn't heavily populated with monsters, and the monsters weren't cross. Any party that could enter the core should be able to handle most situations here. I wonder what they came across. Could it be a boss? Finally, he saw the people who had sent the distress signals. It's them. Chapter 263. Holy crap, what a massive bird. Lin Moyu could only describe this party with one word: chaotic. The formation seemed puzzling. 20 members, 8 of whom were healers, far more than the standard, all-female class users. It was practically a healer party. Lin Moyu couldn't fathom why they needed so many healers. Typically, 4 would suffice, especially since high-level healers could perform group heal. Yet, in this situation, the abundance of healers turned out to be a blessing. Surrounded by over 50 level 61 battlefield wolves, the party would have been overwhelmed without them. She's wielding a maul, what sort of class is that? His attention was drawn to Mu Shenxian, who was wielding a maul, an unusual choice. She was using a skill that scattered sparks like small fireworks, seemingly annoying the monsters who focused their attacks on her. Lin Moyu had never seen a class like hers before. Jialin Yeyu hadn't anticipated such a dire situation. 2 specks of starlight had fallen, exploding on either side of the party, and suddenly they were surrounded by 50 battlefield wolves. The ambush had nearly overwhelmed them, but they managed to stabilize the situation, albeit barely. Outnumbered more than 2 to 1 by wolves with formidable attack power, even Jialin Yeyu, a level 60 sacred knight, was struggling. Hang in there, the distress signals have been sent. Someone will surely come to rescue us. Sisters, don't give up, she shouted, rallying her teammates. She and another knight held the front line, protecting the more vulnerable mages, archers, and healers behind them. Mu Shenxian, with her incongruous platinum maul, fended off the battlefield wolves. Though not a primary combat class, her strength was on par with a warrior, lacking only in powerful skills. When a nearby warrior was knocked back, creating a gap in their defense, Mu Shenxian stepped in, her maul sending out a burst of sparks. Skill. Group collection. Sparks rained down on 8 wolves. The eyes of the wolves gleamed red, and they turned their attention to Mu Shenxian, launching frenzied attacks. Her group collection skill was highly effective at provoking the enemy, drawing their aggression toward her. Heal Shenxian, Jialin Yeyu bellowed. On it. The healers responded immediately. A series of lights enveloped Mu Shenxian as multiple heals fell on her. Lin Moyu, observing the scene, muttered, looks like a healer party does have its advantages. As long as they didn't face monsters or bosses capable of instant kills, they could display impressive endurance. Relieved that they weren't in immediate danger, Lin Moyu sighed in relief. There was no worse waste of effort than arriving too late to help. As they fought, Jialin Yeyu received an unexpected invitation to form a legion. Hope surged within her as she accepted it. The reinforcements are here. Only to be disappointed when she saw who had sent it. Legion Commander, Lin Moyu, level 33. Her hope waned instantly. The reinforcements were just 1 person, and only level 33 at that. Even if he was a super genius, how much difference could he make? But with no other options, they continued to hold out, praying for more help. Suddenly, many footsteps and clicking sounds rose, followed by the miserable cries of the battlefield wolves, and the pressure on them eased as the wolves seemed to change targets. Then, a barrage of magic spells lit up the sky, and the wolves began to fall, one after another, in a spectacle of starlight. Awesome. Is he really level 33? His summoned creatures are incredible. And there are so many of them. Skeletons are supposed to be scary, but these are kind of cute. Once the threat was gone, the women relaxed slightly, admiring Lin Moyu and his skeletons. Jialin Yeyu, too, realized she had underestimated him. Despite his level, Lin Moyu was stronger than their entire party combined. Mu Shenxian, panting, planted her maul on the ground and smiled. Sister Yeyu, we're saved. Yes, we are, Jalan Yeyu agreed, her gaze filled with gratitude toward Lin Moyu. Obtained Starlight Shard. Obtained Starlight Shard through collection. Obtained Starlight Shard. Obtained Starlight Shard through collection. Amid the notifications of collected drops, Lin Moyu noticed something intriguing, mentions of collection. It immediately reminded him of Mu Shenxian, who was a legendary class user, a collection master, a rarity indeed. I've unexpectedly encountered such a rare class. Lin Moyu thought with a slight smile. Under the relentless assault of his undead legions, the battlefield wolves were quickly decimated, with minimal casualties among his skeletons, less than 10 had perished. This was a pretty good outcome. With the battle finally over, Jalan Yeyu and her party relaxed completely. The situation had been dire, and if Lin Moyu hadn't arrived, it was uncertain how much longer they could have held out. After sheathing her sword, Jalan Yeyu thanked Lin Moyu. "Thank you," she hesitated, unsure how to address him. "Senior Lin," she considered, but he was only level 33 and quite young. Conversely, calling him by his first name seemed too informal. After some thought, she spoke again. "Thank you, Brother Lin, for coming to our rescue." On the battlefield, all humans were considered brothers and sisters, so this form of address felt appropriate. Her teammates also expressed their gratitude. Lin Moyu waved off the thanks. "Hurry and leave, this place isn't safe." Jalan Yeyu was puzzled. With the wolves gone and no other monsters in sight, how could it still be unsafe? Thinking Lin Moyu was warning about the core area in general, she smiled with a hint of bravado. "We were just unlucky. We'll be more cautious next time." Clearly, the other party didn't grasp the gravity of the situation. Lin Moyu didn't want to explain further, but considering they were from the Jalan Guild, he decided to clarify, "I'm not talking about." Before he could finish, a piercing screech echoed across the sky, distorting the light of the immemorial battlefield. Lin Moyu's face turned grim. He recognized that cry. "Run!" he shouted, sprinting toward the outside of the core area. Jalan Yeyu quickly caught up, panic in her voice. "What's happening?" "A boss is coming," he replied. Jalan Yeyu's face paled. If ordinary monsters were already this dangerous, then a boss would be deadly. "Run, quickly," she shouted. They all ran at full speed, but Lin Moyu, being level 33 with lower attributes, fell behind, forcing Jalan Yeyu and the others to slow down. The 2,200 skeletal warriors and 1,100 skeletal mages formed a protective perimeter around them. Just half a minute after the screech, a colossal black dot appeared in the sky. The party's archer, who had the best eyesight, gasped, "Holy crap, is that a bird?" Lin Moyu looked back, feeling a chill down his spine. It was a massive bird. No, it was definitely a bird, but its sheer size was terrifying. Chapter 264. Terrifying Boss, Archaic Luaniao. It wasn't just a black bird, it was a creature engulfed in black flames, resembling a dark cloud from afar. As it approached, its true form became clear, a bird blazing fiercely with flames, moving with incredible speed, appearing to be faster than lightning. Just moments ago, it was kilometers away. Now, in the blink of an eye, it hovered above them. Lin Moyu was stunned by its sheer size. The creature's wingspan spanned over 300 meters, vast enough to blot out the sky. Its talons, though retracted, were enormous, capable of snatching a boss like the battlefield serpent turtle with a single grasp. The terrifying image of the serpent turtle being devoured flashed in Lin Moyu's mind, sending chills down his spine. Yet, the most unsettling aspect wasn't its strength, but the intelligence reflected in its eyes. This boss wasn't just a brute, it was a thinking, sentient being. "What is that?" Mu Shenxian asked, carrying her maul as she ran beside Lin Moyu. This rare collection master had caught his attention. "It should a boss," Lin Moyu replied. Jalan Yeyu frowned. What kind of answer was that? Of course, it was a boss. Mu Shenxian's voice trembled, "It looks so scary." Lin Moyu responded with a simple, before adding, "It once devoured another boss." This revelation caused both of their faces to pale. A creature that could eat another boss was either at a higher level or of a superior rank. Given its size, it was likely Lord rank, possibly even World rank. "Watch out, it's coming," Lin Moyu suddenly shouted, having received a warning from his skeletal warriors. The black bird plummeted from the sky with terrifying speed. Lin Moyu didn't dare rely on his bone armor. For the first time, he doubted its ability to protect him. He quickly commanded his skeletal warriors to gather around and yelled, "Get close together." Jalan Yeyu echoed the command, "Quick, get close together." Everyone quickly formed a tight group, with the skeletal warriors creating an outer ring and skeletal mages surrounding them. Lin Moyu hesitated to use the slow curse, unsure if it would work on such a terrifying boss. Even if it did, how effective would it be? Moreover, it might attract the boss's attention and provoke it further. He wasn't willing to take that risk. The skeletal mages began casting their skills, filling the sky with a dazzling array of attacks. Mu Shenxian asked, "How did it find us in the enormous core area?" Lin Moyu snorted, "It's because of the distress signals." Jalan Yeyu was stunned, "So we drew it here. What else could it be?" Lin Moyu shot her a look that spoke volumes. Another piercing screech echoed as the boss broke through the skeletal mages' attacks and unleashed a jet of black flames. Lin Moyu paled. He didn't need to look to know how powerful the flames were. Fortunately, the boss wasn't targeting them directly but aimed at the skeletons on the ground. The flames created a vast sea of fire, severely injuring hundreds of skeletal warriors. The Lich generals immediately cast group heal, but the boss flapped its wings again, raining down black fireballs like a meteor shower. The severely wounded skeletal warriors didn't stand a chance. Before they could be healed, they were obliterated. The boss swooped down, talons extended, wings sweeping, black flames swirling like a whirlwind, blowing away the skeletons. A dozen skeletal warriors were snatched up. Lin Moyu watched as the boss stuffed the skeletal warriors into its mouth, chewed briefly, and then spat them out in disgust. The entire sequence took less than 2 seconds. In that brief exchange, over 80 skeletal warriors were lost, more than 70 fell to the black flames and a dozen succumbed in the creature's mouth. Another 200 to 300 were severely injured. Lin Moyu was alarmed. This boss was far more powerful than he had imagined. How could there be such a terrifying creature? He knew his skeletal warriors' attributes well. Even with a status buff, all 4 attributes reached 57,000. Yet, they were dispatched instantly. Gritting his teeth, Lin Moyu cast the detection spell. Luckily, the boss didn't notice him as it flew back into the sky. Archaic Luaniao 1 Lord Rank Boss. Level 67. Strength 300,000. Agility 150,000. Spirit 200,000. Physique 150,000. Skills: Flame Spout, Fire Explosion. Traits: Fire Elemental Immunity, 60% Elemental Damage Reduction, 60% Physical Damage Reduction, Teeth Ignore Defense. Upon seeing the attributes, Lin Moyu felt an urge to curse. A level 67 Lord rank boss with total attributes of 800,000, 300,000 higher than the battlefield serpent turtle. With a strength attribute of 300,000 and teeth that ignored defense, it was no wonder the serpent turtle stood no chance. This boss was nearly at the top tier in the immemorial battlefield's upper layer. It normally should be active only in the center of the core area, not on its outskirts. Why had it flown so far out? Out of boredom. Lin Moyu had seen the flame spout skill firsthand, but the fireball barrage, that was clearly not a skill, just a regular attack. It was truly terrifying. This boss was unbeatable. Lin Moyu dared not stop and kept fleeing toward the central area. If he could reach it, he'd be safe. He had never heard of anyone encountering a boss above level 60 in the central area. The monsters in the core area never left the core area. Fighting wasn't an option, their only hope was escape. Lin Moyu's face was grim, as was Jalan Yeyu's. How can there be such a terrifying boss? Its attributes are even higher than some top-level level 70 class users. Lin Moyu glanced at her, thinking, comparing human attributes to a Lord rank boss. Really, humans couldn't compare to ordinary monsters in terms of attributes, let alone bosses. A sharp screech heralded the archaic Luaniao's descent. Flapping its massive wings, it unleashed another rain of fireballs. Lin Moyu was certain these fireballs weren't the result of a skill, they were simply a regular attack, a devastating group attack that erased his numerical advantage instantly. Mu Shenxian asked quietly, "Lin Moyu, can you beat it?" Lin Moyu shot her a glance, thinking, if I could, would I be running? I can't, he finally replied. Another jet of black flames scorched the ground, engulfing many skeletons, followed by fireballs. Another batch was eliminated. The archaic Luaniao seized another dozen skeletons. This time, it crushed them with its talons. Lin Moyu winced at the sound. The loss of dozens of skeletons was painful, but now wasn't the time to dwell on it. If he could escape with his life, it would be a victory. Skeletons could be replaced. His life couldn't. The archaic Luaniao came down once more, launching another round of attacks. After 3 rounds, nearly an entire undead legion of skeletons was wiped out. The opponent was too strong, he couldn't defend against it at all. The archaic Luaniao soared into the sky again, seemingly tired of playing, circling above and letting out a series of sharp cries. Lin Moyu took the opportunity to run a considerable distance. Just as he thought it had enough, a hair-raising sense of danger washed over him, it had locked onto him. Without hesitation, Lin Moyu changed direction and ran. Jialin Yeyu, Mu Shenxian, and the others were about to follow, but Lin Moyu barked, "Don't follow me." 1. Luaniao, Web Links. Chapter 265. The arrival of a top-level succubus, come with me obediently. Jialin Yeyu, Mu Shenxian, and the others were startled by Lin Moyu's sudden outburst. Without a word to them, he sprinted off in another direction. What's gotten into him? Jialin Yeyu wondered aloud, frozen in place. Mu Shenxian was equally confused. Suddenly, she noticed something and pointed skyward, at the archaic Luaniao. Look! It's heading toward Lin Moyu. Only then did Jialin Yeyu grasp Lin Moyu's intention. Shame washed over her, making her blush with embarrassment. She had assumed Lin Moyu was trying to abandon them and escape alone. But now, she realized he was leading the archaic Luaniao away to give them a chance to survive, sacrificing himself in the process. Such noble spirit. Jialin Yeyu quickly made a decision, we can't let brother Lin Moyu's sacrifice be in vain. Let's go. She led the group in the opposite direction. Lin Moyu didn't hear her words, but if he had, he would have thought, this woman sure has a wild imagination. While his actions did carry some nobility, Lin Moyu didn't see himself as a self-sacrificing hero. The archaic Luaniao had targeted him. If he stayed with the party, its next group attack would kill everyone except him. He chose to distance himself so they could live. Besides, if they died because of him, all his efforts would have been for nothing. Lin Moyu ran swiftly, recalling his undead legions. With the archaic Luaniao fixated on him, they were no longer needed to draw its firepower. There was no reason to drag Jialin Yeyu and the others, or even his skeletons, into this deadly situation. His damage transfer, bone armor, and enhanced troops might just be enough to keep him alive. You want to kill me? It won't be that easy. Lin Moyu gritted his teeth and sped toward the central area. The archaic Luaniao began its descent. Just then, a fleeing monster appeared in front of Lin Moyu. The black flames from the sky incinerated it instantly. His bone armor shattered in a second, and though he quickly recast it, the flames had already inflicted significant damage. He sensed the loss of over 30 skeletons. His defense was much lower than that of his skeletons, and in the brief moment when the bone armor was down, the damage he sustained was enough to kill him many times over. The damage ignored his skeleton's defenses, directly affecting them, resulting in heavy losses. Lin Moyu continuously recast his bone armor. After casting the skill 6 times, the sea of fire finally receded. The archaic Luaniao was now directly above him, its massive talons poised to strike. Realizing it couldn't grab him, as he was too small, it switched to a powerful swat. The bone armor shattered again, sending Lin Moyu flying with a grunt. Damage transfer activated, and he felt the loss of several dozen more skeletons. Without time to grieve, he quickly reapplied his armor as the archaic Luaniao soared back into the sky. You think I'm made of clay? Lin Moyu muttered under his breath. Now that the battle had truly begun, Lin Moyu wasn't about to retreat. A red light flared as he cast his skill. Damage curse. Along with a buzzing sound, a blood-red sword materialized above the archaic Luaniao's head. Then, a flame surged in Lin Moyu's hand. Soul blaze. The archaic Luaniao shrieked in pain. Enraged that this tiny insect dared to fight back, it unleashed a barrage of black flames that transformed into massive fireballs, covering the sky. Darn it! Lin Moyu dashed even faster. This was clearly the archaic Luaniao's second skill. When the fireballs hit the ground, they exploded with terrifying force, sending shockwaves through the land, devastating everything in their wake. Mushroom clouds rose one after another. Jialin Yeyu and the others, already far away, witnessed the devastation. The ground trembled beneath their feet. Jialin Yeyu swallowed hard at the sight, unable to bear watching. Tears welled up in Mu Shenxian's eyes. Lin Moyu really was a good person. Jialin Yeyu, knowing Mu Shenxian's tender heart, consoled her, don't be sad. Brother Lin Moyu was indeed a great man. When we return, we'll set up a memorial for him. Mu Shenxian nodded. We should burn 3 sticks of incense for him every day. The others agreed. Yes, let's burn incense for brother Lin Moyu. Meanwhile, Lin Moyu's bone armor repeatedly shattered and was instantly recast. Despite his speed, there were moments when he couldn't react quickly enough, and his unfortunate skeletons bore the brunt of the damage. Though they weren't truly alive, to Lin Moyu, they were both his summons and his comrades. I'll remember this grudge. One day, I'll settle this score with you. Lin Moyu vowed as he continued to flee amidst the explosions. The archaic Luaniao relentlessly pursued him, its black fireballs raining down. Lin Moyu, focused on survival, kept recasting his bone armor as he sprinted toward the central area. He was at most 2 minutes away. Realizing its attacks were ineffective, the archaic Luaniao dove once more, determined to prevent Lin Moyu from escaping, feeling humiliated that this level 33 small fry had survived for so long. It landed in his path, opened its beak, and prepared to devour him. Suddenly, a powerful presence surged from afar. Both Lin Moyu and the archaic Luaniao turned their attention to the approaching figure. The abyss's power surged. The approaching figure was an abyssal demon, their overwhelming aura comparable to that of a top-level human class user. Lin Moyu felt a chill. A level 70+ top-level abyssal demon was approaching, clearly targeting him. He realized he might have been marked at some point. Otherwise, in the vast immemorial battlefield, what were the chances of them finding him? With a fierce beast behind him and a powerful demon ahead, Lin Moyu was caught in a dire situation. Running seemed futile, but staying put meant certain death. Moments later, the figure became clear, a level 70+ abyssal succubus. Though not as strong as the succubus queen, she was far more powerful than Alice. Finally found you. I didn't expect you to hide in the core area. Since I'm here, you better come with me obediently. Don't worry, I will take good care of you. Ha ha. Abyssal succubus Mina hovered in the air, her voice dripping with seduction. I finally found you. I never expected you to be hiding in the core area. Now that I'm here, you'd better come with me obediently. Don't worry, I'll take good care of you. Ha ha. Abyssal succubus Mina hovered in the air, radiating an alluring charm, her voice was laced with seduction. Lin Moyu's bone armor flashed, blocking her charm. Seeing her spell fail, Mina's expression darkened slightly. She had been ordered to capture Lin Moyu alive, not kill him. The succubus queen wanted him brought back to the abyss alive if possible, so she had to comply. Lin Moyu understood her intentions. I can't go with you. As he spoke, he used the detection spell, but it only revealed her name. Mina laughed. Young friend Lin Moyu, this isn't up to you. Is that so? Lin Moyu chuckled and then abruptly ran toward the archaic Luaniao, swiftly passing it and heading deeper into the core area. If Mina wanted to catch him, she would have to get past the archaic Luaniao first. But to his surprise, neither the archaic Luaniao nor Mina pursued him. Puzzled, Lin Moyu glanced back to see the archaic Luaniao glaring at Mina, its eyes blazing with resentment. Mina smiled sweetly. A mere boss of the upper layer dares to stand in my way. Get out of the way, or I'll kill you. The archaic Luaniao screeched and flapped its wings, launching a barrage of fireballs at Mina. Still smiling, Mina effortlessly weaved between the fireballs, passing through them in an instant. None could touch her. She could fly too and was incredibly swift. The archaic Luaniao was enraged, spewing flames that engulfed the area. This time, Mina couldn't dodge. A black light erupted from her, forming a shield that blocked the flames. However, the flames were immensely powerful, and her shield quickly weakened. It wasn't until then that Mina realized the boss before her was no ordinary opponent. The archaic Luaniao, filled with hatred, lunged at Mina, ignoring Lin Moyu entirely. Mina also grew serious. This boss seemed a bit different from the ones she had faced before. Meanwhile, Lin Moyu left stunned, watching the intense battle from below, feeling like an outsider. Finding a suitable pit, he lay down and watched the aerial clash unfold. After all, constantly looking up was tiring. Chapter 266. You've got some serious luck to still be alive. In the sky, the archaic Luaniao and succubus Mina clashed, neither side willing to give an inch. The archaic Luaniao, harboring a deep grudge, attacked with ferocity, hurling fireballs that exploded midair, forming towering mushroom clouds. The core area trembled under the relentless barrage. Initially, Mina, enveloped in abyssal energy, managed to fend off the attacks. But as the battle raged on, her composure began to falter. She struggled to keep pace with the relentless onslaught. Lin Moyu observed the battle, noticing that while both were evenly matched, Mina seemed hesitant. She mostly dodged and defended, rarely counter-attacking. Mina, a level 70+ top-level demon, had ascended from a lower layer through a spatial channel. She could only remain in the upper layer for about an hour. However, if she engaged in fierce battle, she would be forced back within minutes. This explained her cautious approach. Several times, Mina tried to swoop down and grab Lin Moyu, but the archaic Luaniao's relentless pursuit made it difficult for her to break away. The archaic Luaniao was nearly as fast and agile as Mina. Lin Moyu considered fleeing but knew that leaving would give Mina the opportunity she sought. Between facing the level 70+ abyssal succubus and the archaic Luaniao, he preferred the latter. Mina, her time in the upper layer dwindling, began to grow impatient. She hadn't anticipated encountering a powerful boss like the archaic Luaniao. After several minutes of deadlock, she finally lost patience, and a beam of dark light, tinged with an odd shade of red, shot out from her slender fingers. Skill. Bewitching glow. When Lin Moyu saw the light, he momentarily froze. The bone armor shone brightly, snapping him back to reality. A chill ran down his spine as he realized the terrifying power of a top-level demon. Even a brief glance had nearly mesmerized him. The archaic Luaniao, struck by the dark light, froze midair, its pupils losing focus. Mina lunged at Lin Moyu, knowing the archaic Luaniao would be bewitched for only a few seconds. Lin Moyu, anticipating her move, quickly summoned his undead legions, filling the pit with skeletons and burying himself in the middle. Mina hadn't expected Lin Moyu to react so quickly. She smiled seductively, a dangerous glint in her eyes. If she couldn't capture Lin Moyu alive, she would settle for his corpse. Having committed to her attack, Mina unleashed the full power of her abyss's energy, revealing the true strength of a top-level demon. A massive amount of the abyss's energy surged forward in waves, blowing away the skeletons in her path. Mina, desperate as her time ran out, pushed forward. The skeletons Lin Moyu had arranged were swept away in seconds, scattering like raindrops. Mina reached Lin Moyu, extending her hand. "You can't escape from me." With a loud bang, everything went dark. A towering Lich General blocked Mina's path. While Lich Generals weren't strong fighters, they had incredibly high physique. Among Lin Moyu's summoned creatures, they had the highest physique. The level 33 Lich General, enhanced by a status buff, boasted a physique exceeding 150,000. Even Mina couldn't knock it away with a single blow. "Get out of the way!" Mina roared, unleashing the full force of her abyssal aura. The Lich General was blown away instantly. Lin Moyu had placed each Lich General as a final barrier, but they were all swept aside, leaving him fully exposed to Mina's gaze. "Let's see if you can still." Before Mina could finish her sentence, her expression changed abruptly. A flash of white light and a flame greeted her. The Lich Generals had been mere distractions. Skill. Bone Fangs. Skill. Soul Blaze. Lin Moyu unleashed two skills simultaneously for the first time. The flame bloomed like a dazzling flower. Mina screamed in agony. Even as a top-level demon, she couldn't endure the excruciating pain that pierced her soul. The Bone Fangs, with immense penetrating power, struck Mina. The 1,200 bone fangs concentrated on a single spot. However, her high level and powerful abyss's energy made it impossible for them to penetrate her defenses. Only Soul Blaze inflicted minor damage, immobilizing her for a fraction of a second. Seizing the opportunity, Lin Moyu retreated, recalling the Lich Generals to form another line of defense. The Lich Generals cast their healing skill, restoring each other. But Mina, enraged, unleashed another terrifying burst of power, sending them flying once more. Soul Blaze descended again, striking directly at her soul. The unavoidable attack inflicted intense pain, fueling Mina's anger. Her eyes burned with murderous intent as she glared at Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu retreated further, placing skeletal warriors in front of him. Whether Lich Generals or skeletal warriors, they were merely tools to buy time. To Mina, Lin Moyu was like a bedbug, small yet impossible to crush, driving her to madness. A massive black spear, radiating overwhelming murderous intent, appeared in her hand. Lin Moyu's eyes narrowed, noticing countless human souls trapped within the spear, wailing in torment. "You deserve to die," Lin Moyu shouted, his own murderous intent surging. Mina smiled wickedly. "It's you who will die." She had abandoned her plan to capture him alive, now intent on killing him, taking his head back, and adding his soul to her spear. The primordial rune on Lin Moyu's hand grew hot as he prepared for a desperate fight. Suddenly, a terrifying aura exploded in the air. Mina's expression changed drastically. A black flaming meteor, at least 100 meters wide, hurtled from the sky. Even before it struck, it created a terrifying air pressure, warping the space around it with intense heat. Mina, sensing life-threatening danger, let out a strange scream and fled. If she didn't escape, the meteor would crush her. That wasn't in the information provided by the detection spell. Lin Moyu fled as fast as he could. The detection spell had revealed two skills of the archaic Luaniao, flame spout and fire explosion. He had seen both, but this was something else entirely. The detection skill wasn't 100% accurate after all. Lin Moyu knew that if the meteor hit him directly, he'd be reduced to dust. The bone armor wouldn't stand a chance. His only option was to escape, to avoid being hit head-on by the meteor. He recalled all his skeletons, knowing that leaving them outside would mean certain death. He activated an advanced random teleportation talisman, but it failed. An unseen force in the core area was disrupting the talisman, rendering not only the advanced random teleportation talisman but all teleportation items useless. Teacher didn't mention this. Bai Yiyuan hadn't considered the possibility of a level 30 class user reaching the core area, so he hadn't warned Lin Moyu. With no other options, Lin Moyu summoned a skeleton, which grabbed him and sped away. Being carried by the skeleton was uncomfortable, but survival was all that mattered, and the skeleton moved much faster than he could. The black fiery meteor crashed into the ground, raising an enormous mushroom cloud. A shockwave, mixed with black flames, swept out, throwing Lin Moyu high into the air. The black flames vaporized the earth within a radius of over 1,000 meters. Thrown over 1,000 meters, Lin Moyu crashed to the ground like a broken stone, rolling hundreds of meters before coming to a stop, battered and dazed. His bone armor shattered on impact, but he instinctively reapplied it over and over, barely managing to survive. He checked his summon space and couldn't help but smile wryly. His undead legions were half destroyed. He had lost more than 500 skeletal warriors and over 100 skeletal mages. But he was alive, thanks to damage transfer and elemental resistance. Damage transfer allowed his skeletons to absorb the damage on his behalf, while elemental resistance significantly reduced the damage he suffered. Combined with the fire immunity granted by the fire gem, fire damage was reduced by 8-fold. Without this combination, a level 33 character like him would have died many times over in the face of the level 67 boss's full power attack. Wow, you've got some serious luck to still be alive. Mina's voice suddenly echoed in his ears. Chapter 267, Tomb of the Human Hero Lin Moyu. My luck's always been decent, Lin Moyu said, casting a sidelong glance at Mina. She was in rough shape, covered in wounds and noticeably weakened. You seem worse off than me, he added with a sly smile. Mina tightened her grip on her spear and retorted, even like this, I can still crush you. Lin Moyu chuckled, you can try, but I might just kill you instead. Despite his disheveled appearance, Lin Moyu was uninjured. Although he had lost a significant number of skeletons, he still commanded 8 full undead legions. His enhanced troops skill was ready to deploy. At this time, his remaining undead legions appeared, their gaze fixed on Mina. Noticing the rune on Lin Moyu's hand, Mina's expression changed dramatically, a primordial rune. The power of primordial runes was immense, granting skills far beyond the ordinary. Mina knew she couldn't afford to be reckless. The confidence in Lin Moyu's eyes made her pause. She was far from her peak strength in her current state. Suddenly, a burst of black light erupted, and a spatial channel appeared beside Mina, pulling at her with tremendous force. This was one of the immemorial battlefield's rules, time was up, and she had to leave. She put away her spear, her murderous intent vanishing. With a charming smile, she said, my young friend Lin Moyu, I'll spare you this time. Next chance we get, I'll come play with you again. Take care until then, don't let that guy eat you. Her tone was playful, even flirtatious, but Lin Moyu remained stoic. Next time we meet, I'll kill you. Next time, I'll eat you instead. With a chuckle, Mina was sucked into the spatial channel. Lin Moyu sighed in relief. He had no desire to fight her, knowing that even with his enhanced troop skill, victory wasn't guaranteed. And there was still the archaic Luaniao to deal with, escaping was his priority. Where's the archaic Luaniao? He wondered, scanning the sky but finding no trace of it. In the distance, a fierce black fire blazed where the meteor had struck, creating a sea of flames. Lin Moyu cautiously approached the impact site, discovering a massive crater over 1,000 meters in diameter, with black flames scorching the earth. But where was the archaic Luaniao? After a thorough search, he finally spotted its silhouette in the center of the fire. Lin Moyu cast the detection spell. Archaic Luaniao, Lord Rank Boss. Level 67. Status: in the process of nirvanic rebirth, currently in an invincible state. A cold dread crept up his spine. Nirvanic rebirth, and in an invincible state. Run. Lin Moyu's only thought was to flee. If he waited for the creature to complete its rebirth, he'd stand no chance. The sea of black fire was expanding, spreading outward from the crater. Lin Moyu ran away without hesitation. In fact, he was carried by a skeleton as they sped away. The fire spread rapidly, covering a radius of 5,000 meters in just 10 minutes. Then, a gigantic figure erupted from the flames, letting out a high-pitched cry. Flames surged skyward, forming a long band of black fire. The archaic Luaniao had completed its nirvanic rebirth. It circled in the air, screeching non-stop, searching for Lin Moyu and Mina. As its wings flapped, black flames churned. By this time, Mina had already returned to the lower layer, while Lin Moyu had escaped the core area. The archaic Luaniao searched for a while. Unable to find them, it eventually flew deeper into the core area. After leaving the core area and running several thousand more meters, Lin Moyu finally stopped and sighed in relief, safe at last. He calculated his losses and realized they were tremendous: 861 skeletal warriors, 192 skeletal mages, and 1 lich general. Rebuilding his forces would take time. Without access to desert fruit, his only option was to rely on earth evil centipede meat and meditation. Lin Moyu found a flat spot and began replenishing his skeletons. He wouldn't feel secure until his undead legions were restored. Fortunately, his spirit attribute was now high enough. With his spirit force restorations now at 134 times, he could restore his spirit force in under 20 minutes. Coupled with the effect of earth evil centipede meat, he could complete a round of summoning every 10 minutes. He estimated that it would take 3 to 4 days to fully restore his undead legions. For several days, Lin Moyu sat motionless, summoning skeletons. Finally, after 3 days, his legions were fully restored. Level 33 Lich General could lead 330 units, which Lin Moyu configured with 200 skeletal warriors and 130 skeletal mages. Lin Moyu now commanded 13 undead legions, totaling 4,290 skeletons, 2,600 skeletal warriors and 1,690 skeletal mages. With the skeletal warriors in the front and the skeletal mages providing concentrated fire from behind, their damage potential was immense. Inspecting his legions like a commander, Lin Moyu felt a surge of pride. But thoughts of the archaic Luaniao quickly deflated it. The creature's flames rendered his favorite human wave tactic useless. Even climbing the creature was impossible, as the skeletons would be incinerated within seconds. Not even the Lich General's healing could keep up. Moreover, flying bosses were notoriously difficult to handle. Only those who had faced them firsthand truly understood this challenge. They could attack and retreat at will, and as long as they remained airborne, there was little one could do to counter them. Sooner or later, I'll take you down, Lin Moyu vowed to himself. If he couldn't defeat it now, he would try again in the future. After a brief rest to recover from the fatigue of the past few days, Lin Moyu recalled most of his undead legions, leaving only a portion to clear the path ahead. He proceeded to follow the outer edge of the core area, searching for the demonic Dragon Hall dungeon. It was like looking for a needle in a haystack, but he had to try. His plan was to circle the core area first and hope for some luck. I wonder if those guys managed to escape. As long as they aren't complete idiots, they should be fine. After a while, Lin Moyu arrived at the spot where he had entered the core area earlier. From a distance, he saw a massive rock over 20 meters high, shaped like a stele, resembling a tombstone. Its presence in the immemorial battlefield was out of place. Curious, Lin Moyu approached and noticed an inscription on it. Tomb of the human hero Lin Moyu. Jalan Guild's Yayu Knights pay their respects. Lin Moyu was at a loss for words. Are these fools for real? He was very much alive, so why did they set up a tombstone for him? It felt like they were cursing him to death. Several skeletal warriors rushed over and smashed the tombstone to pieces. However, upon reflection, Lin Moyu couldn't really blame them. After they parted ways, he had deactivated Legion mode, and given the terrifying onslaught of the archaic Luaniao, it was understandable that most people wouldn't believe he could survive. Lin Moyu had been lucky that the top-level succubus Mina had appeared. If not for her, he might have been in real danger. Whether it was the archaic Luaniao or Mina, Lin Moyu couldn't contend with them solely by relying on numbers. If they were the same level, Lin Moyu believed he wouldn't be weaker than either of them. In fact, it wouldn't be too difficult to slay them. I must raise my level. Having made up his mind, he decided that once he found the demonic dragon hall, he would leave the immemorial battlefield to level up in the dungeon hall. The next time he returned, he would truly step into the core area. The Yeyu Knights, led by Jalan Yeyu, had already left the core area. It was too dangerous. If given another chance, Jalan Yeyu wouldn't venture in recklessly. If Lin Moyu hadn't come to their rescue, they would have perished. Only she and Mu Shenxian could have resurrected, as they had planted resurrection seeds in the guild. The other members would have been lost forever. Even now, thinking back on it made her shiver. Sister Yeyu, do you think people will see the tombstone we erected for Brother Lin? Mu Shenxian asked, her delicate appearance contrasting with the large maul she carried on her shoulder. Whether people see it isn't important, Jalan Yeyu replied, what matters is our intent. When we get back, we'll make a proper tomb for Brother Lin. I also want to visit his place and get some of his clothes to create a burial mound. Mu Shenxian's eyes filled with tears, Brother Lin is so pitiful. In the end, his body was burned to nothing. Before Jalan Yeyu could respond, the sound of battle erupted ahead. Magic spells shot into the sky from the ground and exploded midair. Abyssal demons spun and flew through the air, launching attacks of their own. Abyssal demons, prepare for battle. Jalan Yeyu swiftly drew her sword and charged forward. Chapter 268. Vision, Earth Knight. Lin Moyu continued to advance along the planned route, carefully measuring the land. Based on the information provided by Bai Yiyuan, it would take at least a few months to walk around the core area. The core area had been expanding year by year, and some speculated that it might swallow the central area in thousands of years and eventually the entire immemorial battlefield. If that happened, those below level 60 wouldn't be able to enter the immemorial battlefield. However, others argued that although the core area expanded, the immemorial battlefield itself grew as well, so there was no cause for concern. In Lin Moyu's opinion, since this was beyond his control, it was best not to dwell on it. Instead, he focused on his immediate goal, killing more demons and invading the abyssal world. That was what truly mattered. Why are there so few monsters? Lin Moyu wondered, could it be that I'm following a path others have already taken? His undead legions were clearing the way ahead, continuously sending back information. To his surprise, the number of monsters they encountered was unusually low. The undead legions advanced in a fan-shaped formation, with 10 skeletons per team, spaced far apart to cover a large area. The route Lin Moyu had chosen was just 2,000 to 3,000 meters from the core area, practically hugging it. There should have been plenty of monsters, but there were pitifully few. However, this allowed him to increase his speed, advancing more than 1,600 kilometers per day. In retrospect, this was beneficial, as he wasn't here to grind levels. His priority was to find the demonic dragon hall dungeon and collect enough dragon crystals. If he wanted to grind levels, he could do so more efficiently in dungeons. In the distance, Lin Moyu suddenly noticed brilliant clouds shimmering in the sky. Clouds? How could there be clouds in the immemorial battlefield? These clouds were composed of light orbs. A vision, Lin Moyu murmured, hastening forward with a hint of anticipation. It might be the demonic dragon hall dungeon. Whenever the demonic dragon hall dungeon appeared, it always triggered a great conflict. To enter the demonic dragon hall, parties had to fight numerous battles. This was because the appearance of the demonic dragon hall dungeon always caused a vision, though the vision was different each time. This phenomenon wasn't limited to the demonic dragon hall. The dungeon Lin Mohan entered previously, it triggered bands of light formed from starlight. Similarly, after acquiring a primordial rune, a vision would appear during the 10-day fusion period. This was a rule of the immemorial battlefield, signaling the presence of a treasure and inviting others to fight for it, attracting numerous creatures. Visions were triggered not only by dungeons, but also by secret realms and treasure. Even when certain bosses that dropped treasures appeared, unusual scenes would unfold. Lin Moyu was hundreds of kilometers away from the starlight orbs but swiftly closed the distance. In just half a day, he reached the area where the vision was occurring. A few skeletons ran ahead, relaying information in real time. Human class users, abyssal demons, and Dragonkind class users are in a three-way standoff. According to the skeletons' reports, the three sides were in a stalemate. Each side had large numbers and was wary of the others, unwilling to act recklessly. Lin Moyu approached and sensed the aura of a dungeon, but felt a hint of disappointment. It wasn't the demonic Dragon Hall dungeon. Bai Yiyuan had told him that the aura of the demonic Dragon Hall dungeon was a unique blend of abyssal demon and Dragonkind bloodline powers, combining darkness and Dragonkind characteristics. It was distinct and could be sensed from dozens of kilometers away. This dungeon's aura didn't match that description. Even so, anything that could trigger a vision was likely to be an extraordinary treasure. Could it be another dungeon containing a primordial rune like the one sister found? Lin Moyu wondered, or is it something else entirely? As he drew closer, Lin Moyu saw the dungeon entrance from afar, a massive, round stone, over 5 meters in diameter, floating in midair and emitting a yellow glow. Within the glow, he sensed a unique element, earth. Human mage magic spells were divided into 4 primary elements: fire, wind, water, and lightning. The earth element was absent. However, there was a rare human class called Earth Knight, a hidden class ranking higher than Legendary Knight, that dealt with the earth element. The number of people who awakened hidden classes was much lower than those who awakened legendary classes. To awaken hidden classes, various conditions had to be met. Some could be acquired during the first awakening, while others required special items during the second or even third awakenings. Earth Knight was one such class. To awaken as an Earth Knight, a special item called the Heart of the Earth was needed. When a Sacred Knight reached level 40 and underwent the second awakening, they had to use the Heart of the Earth and undergo class sublimation to have a chance to become an Earth Knight. The process was extremely difficult. One had to be a Sacred Knight, achieve class sublimation during the second awakening, and then use the Heart of the Earth. All 3 conditions had to be met. The human race hadn't acquired the Heart of the Earth for many years and thus no new Earth Knights had appeared in recent decades. According to records, Earth Knights were incredibly powerful, surpassing other knight classes. Historically, Earth Knights had achieved significant victories against demons. One godly Earth Knight had single-handedly withstood the siege of 10 demon kings, securing an immortal legacy for the human race. The legend of the Earth Knight was not only known among abyssal demons but was also widely circulated among Dragonkind. Earth Knight was considered the pinnacle of the knight class. The Heart of the Earth came from the Earthirt dungeon, which only appeared in the upper layer of the immemorial battlefield. The chance of the Earthirt dungeon appearing was very low, and it only lasted for a short duration. The Heart of the Earth was only useful to humans. To prevent humans from acquiring it, abyssal demons and Dragonkind would do their utmost to stop them from entering the Earthirt dungeon whenever it appeared. Lin Moyu quickly reviewed his knowledge about the Heart of the Earth. He didn't know much, but he was aware that it was crucial for humanity. His high school history teacher had once lamented the absence of new Earth Knights in recent years. So, it's the Heart of the Earth's dungeon, Lin Moyu concluded, resolving to enter the dungeon and obtain the Heart of the Earth. As soon as he saw the dungeon, he thought of Shi Xing'an, a kind and gentle older brother who had long envied Sacred Light Knights. Shi Xing'an was one of Lin Moyu's few friends, and if Lin Moyu could help him, he certainly would. With this in mind, Lin Moyu headed toward the dungeon. In front of the dungeon, the 3 forces remained in a standoff. The abyssal demons and Dragonkind focused on the humans, preventing them from entering the dungeon. This stalemate would likely continue until the dungeon disappeared. The humans weren't weaker than the other 2 forces but couldn't fight both at once. Neither the abyssal demons nor Dragonkind wanted to clash with the humans, knowing any losses would ultimately benefit the other side. Thus, the 3 forces remained deadlocked. These guys are despicable. Jialin Yeyu gripped her sword, her face full of anger as she glared at the abyssal demons. Mu Shenxian responded with a concerned hum, her face showing urgency. The dungeon only has 10 hours left. If we don't go in soon, we'll run out of time. It took time to raid a dungeon, and with less than 10 hours remaining, it was hardly enough. At that moment, Mu Shenxian suddenly thought of Lin Moyu and his undead legions. She muttered to herself, if he were here, things would probably be fine. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps echoed. An undead legion marched forward in formation, with Lin Moyu at the front, looking every bit like a military commander. When Jialin Yeyu and Mu Shenxian saw Lin Moyu, they were dumbfounded, as if struck by lightning. After a few moments, Jialin Yeyu exclaimed, "You're alive." Her remark reached Lin Moyu's ears, causing his lips to twitch. Is it that surprising? Jalin Yeyu uttered reflexively, so the tombstone was all in vain. Lin Moyu felt a brief urge to order his skeletal warriors to give her a few slashes but restrained himself. Senior Officer Lin. On the human side, Zhang Hanshin stepped forward and saluted Lin Moyu. Chapter 269, because I've read about the Three Kingdoms. Lin Moyu's sudden appearance drew the attention of not only the abyssal demons in Dragonkind but also the human class users. At first glance, Lin Moyu seemed insignificant, just a level 33 small fry. His undead legion, though impressive in number, was composed of skeletons with weak attributes, so frail that a single group attack from a mage could wipe them out. However, those familiar with Lin Moyu recognized him immediately, and smiles spread across their faces, especially among Zhang Hanshin's party. They knew just how formidable he truly was. Zhang Hanshin offered Lin Moyu a military salute, and Lin Moyu returned the gesture. It was then that others noticed the seemingly unremarkable military badge gleaming with golden light on Lin Moyu's chest, a colonel badge. This young man, just level 33, was actually a colonel. Among all present, only Zhang Hanshin held a similar rank, the others were mere lieutenants at most. In this regard, Lin Moyu had already outshone them all. Zhang Hanshin's respectful salute underscored Lin Moyu's higher status, shocking those unfamiliar with him even more. This young man is no ordinary figure. Being a colonel at his level means he's slain many demons in Dragonkind. I wonder if he can change the situation. Time is running out. Let's hope we can retrieve the heart of the earth. Humanity is desperate for a new Earth Knight. The Jalin Guild has notified everyone they could reach, but they might arrive too late. Lin Moyu's arrival made the abyssal demons in Dragonkind wary. Though they initially dismissed him and his undead legion as a non-threat, but when they sighted the colonel badge on his chest their disdain turned into alarm. A Dragonkind class user muttered, eyes filled with murderous intent, I can sense the aura of our kind on him. He's killed many of our brethren. I can almost hear their cries of anguish. This aura makes me want to kill him. Despite the venom in his words, he stayed still, his reason telling him not to act rashly. If anyone was to act first, it should be the demons. The abyssal demons, too, focused on Lin Moyu. An abyssal succubus spoke in a bewitching voice, I can sense the mark of a top-level succubus on him. He's been hunted by one before. Her words caused a stir among the abyssal demons. To survive being hunted by a top-level succubus, who is this human? Lin Moyu reached the front of the human side and pointed to Mu Shenxian, come with me into the dungeon. He spoke with such authority, as if it were a foregone conclusion, completely ignoring that Mu Shenxian was level 59 while he was only level 33. Surprisingly, Mu Shenxian made no objection. Just the two of us? She asked softly. Lin Moyu nodded. It's enough. He sent her a party invitation, which she accepted without hesitation, and then led her toward the dungeon entrance. Some human class users attempted to follow, but Zhang Hanshin stopped them with a wave of his hand, don't. His words carried a lot of weight, as he was the only colonel and held the highest military rank, commanding significant respect and authority. The abyssal demons in Dragonkind glared at Lin Moyu with murderous intent, but he ignored them. His skeletons, sensing the hostility, defiantly raised their heads. Be careful, they might attack, Mu Shenxian whispered. They won't, Lin Moyu replied calmly, casting bone armor on both of them. In the three-way standoff, Lin Moyu could see from their eyes that both sides were hoping the other would make the first move. Since only he and Mu Shenxian were entering the dungeon, and the larger human force remained behind, it wouldn't trigger a full-scale battle. Lin Moyu had no time to waste on them. However, if they provoked him, he wouldn't hesitate to retaliate. Although he couldn't defeat the level 67 archaic Luaniao, handling these opponents would be easy with his corpse explosion skill. Trusting Lin Moyu's words, Mu Shenxian followed him to the dungeon entrance. As Lin Moyu expected, neither the abyssal demons nor the Dragonkind attacked, both sides waiting for the other to act first. Lin Moyu touched the dungeon entrance. Dungeon. Earthirt. Remaining time. 8 hours, 45 minutes, 41 seconds. Time was running out, with less than 10 hours remaining. The dungeon had no difficulty rank or entry restrictions, and its contents were unknown. However, based on past experiences, dungeons in the central region of the immemorial battlefield typically ranged from level 45 to level 60. Get ready, we're going in, Lin Moyu said. Okay, I'm ready, Mu Shenxian replied, though she was clearly nervous. Entering a dungeon with just two people was a first for her. In a flash, they entered the dungeon, and the undead legion vanished. After they disappeared inside, the abyssal demons and Dragonkind exchanged hostile glares, each blaming the other for letting Lin Moyu pass. The alliance between the two sides was fragile, sustained only by their shared enemy, the humans. Externally, they presented a united front, but at their core, they remained hostile to each other. Lin Moyu had leveraged this distrust, knowing that they believed two humans couldn't possibly clear the dungeon and would likely perish inside. Inside the dungeon, Mu Shenxian finally relaxed. They really didn't attack. Of course not, Lin Moyu replied. But why? She asked, still puzzled, curious why Lin Moyu was so certain. Because I've read about the Three Kingdoms. Lin Moyu answered. Mu Shenxian didn't understand, but Lin Moyu didn't elaborate. Instead, he surveyed their surroundings. The dungeon was a canyon-like domain, about 100 meters high, illuminated not by sunlight but by glowing mushrooms. The ground was dotted with pools of bubbling hot water, emitting steam. The air was filled with the pungent smell of sulfur. Is this really the Earthirt world? Mu Shenxian exclaimed, but quickly covered her mouth when Lin Moyu shot her a look. Despite their difference in levels, Lin Moyu had naturally assumed the role of leader. Let's go, he said, setting off with Mu Shenxian close behind. Ah, she exclaimed again, quickly covering her mouth afterward. Lin Moyu glanced at her with a puzzled expression, wondering if something was wrong with her head. What could be so shocking? Mu Shenxian pointed at the dungeon entrance and said, "There's no exit." Lin Moyu looked back and confirmed it. Indeed, there was no exit. In every dungeon he had ever encountered, even those of hell rank difficulty, there was always an exit near the entrance, providing a way out if things became too challenging. But here, there was none. Lin Moyu realized that his storage space was still accessible, but his advanced dungeon escape talisman was restricted. The only way out was to clear the dungeon or wait for time to run out. There was no option to leave half through. The dungeon provided no second chance for exploration and didn't allow him to send information outside. What now? Mu Shenxian asked, her voice low. Now we're going to clear it. Lin Moyu replied, summoning an undead legion. The skeletons scattered, searching for routes and exploring the dungeon map. Lin Moyu and Mu Shenxian followed behind, advancing through the canyon-like dungeon. The layout was straightforward, a straight path about 1,000 meters wide, flanked by canyon walls. Suddenly, one of the skeletons was attacked. A monster had appeared. Lin Moyu rushed forward. Chapter 270, The Heavens Favored Mu Shenxian. The monster was a massive python, about 10 meters long and half a meter wide, with immense strength. It coiled tightly around the skeletal warrior, immobilizing it. Despite its grip, the python couldn't inflict significant damage, merely restraining the skeleton. An ordinary person would have suffocated, but the skeleton didn't need to breathe, so it remained unaffected. Lin Moyu rushed over and used the detection spell. Earthirt Python, Enhanced Elite Monster. Level, 54. Strength, 40,000. Agility, 40,000. Spirit, 30,000. Physique, 50,000. Skills, Death Coil, Devour. Traits, 50% physical damage reduction, 50% elemental damage reduction. Seeing the monster's attributes, Lin Moyu felt a slight relief. Its level indicated the dungeon ranged between level 53 and level 55, while its rank indicated that the dungeon's difficulty was nightmare rank. As long as the monsters were below level 60, Lin Moyu wasn't concerned. Whether the difficulty was nightmare or hell rank, he could manage. As long as the boss wasn't excessively powerful, he could wear it down. It's your turn, Lin Moyu said to Mu Shenxian. Mu Shenxian nodded and ran forward. When she was about 10 meters away from the Earthirt Python, she unleashed her skill. Skill, Collection. Fireworks exploded above the python's head, scattering countless specks of light across its body. The monster, now shimmering with mottled spots of light, was immediately drawn to Mu Shenxian and charged toward her. This skill was excellent for generating aggro. The skeletal warriors, ready and waiting, surrounded the creature and unleashed their skill. At the same time, Lin Moyu cast his own skill. Skill, Damage Curse. With their damage multiplied tenfold, the skeletal warriors sliced through the level 54 nightmare dungeon monster with ease. The Earthirt Python let out a miserable cry and was instantly torn apart. Killed level 54 Earthirt Python, EXP plus 1,080,000. Obtained Earth Shard. Obtained Earth Shard through collection. Earth Shard. 1,000 earth shards can be combined into a complete heart of the earth. Seeing the notifications, Lin Moyu couldn't help but feel a hint of joy. He had invited Mu Shenxian to join him in the dungeon on a whim, and it turned out to be a great decision. Although the express was halved, but the rewards were doubled. If each monster dropped an earth shard, then with Mu Shenxian's help, he would only need to kill 500 monsters instead of 1,000 to form a complete heart of the earth. I remember you have the group collection skill. How large is its range? How many targets can you affect at one time? Lin Moyu asked. Mu Shenxian replied, I can control an area up to 1,000 meters in radius and affect up to 200 targets. Lin Moyu had previously seen her use group collection on only 8 battlefield wolves, so he assumed it was limited to 8 targets. Now he realized she had been cautious, avoiding drawing too many enemies at once. Lin Moyu quickly formulated a plan. I'll gather the monsters together, and then you'll use your group collection skill. Don't worry, you won't be in any danger. Okay. Mu Shenxian nodded. Yes, I understand. Lin Moyu ordered the skeletal warriors to scatter and draw out monsters hidden in different corners. Pythons and rats burst from the ponds, boiling water splashing everywhere. Giant centipedes emerged from rock crevices. Soon, the entire canyon teemed with monsters. Eartheart python, Eartheart diamond rat, Eartheart iron centipede. The monsters were numerous and varied in type, but they all shared a common characteristic, a strong earth element. Their bodies were covered in earthy yellow hues, and they exuded a distinct smell of sulfur. Mu Shenxian paled at the sight of so many monsters and couldn't help but exclaim, there are so many monsters. She had never seen so many monsters before. Normally, she tackled dungeons step by step, mostly using her collection skill, rarely using group collection. She wasn't sure what Lin Moyu was trying to do. The skeletons quickly gathered the monsters together, totaling just under 100. Go ahead, Lin Moyu said, pointing. Skill, slow curse. A red light spread, and the monsters slowed down instantly. Mu Shenxian obediently ran over, and from a distance of 12 meters, unleashed a large burst of fireworks. The fireworks exploded with a bang, dazzlingly beautiful, like stars falling from the sky. Lin Moyu commented, this skill is excellent for setting off fireworks. Blushing, Mu Shenxian replied, Sister Yeyu and the others often ask me to use it as fireworks at night. Lin Moyu smiled, amused at the thought. But on second thought, it was indeed quite beautiful. The starlight fell on the monsters and turned into mottled spots of light. As all the monsters turned their eyes toward Mu Shenxian, glowing red with anger. Mu Shenxian was startled and quickly ran back. Despite being level 59, she couldn't withstand such a powerful onslaught. She could be killed instantly. The monsters charged toward her, terrifying her to the point where she turned as white as a sheet and trembled uncontrollably. Lin Moyu found it amusing. How could she be so timid? No wonder she was always so easily startled. With a slight smirk, he summoned another undead legion. The Lich generals used their status buffs, and white light surged. Simultaneously, the 260 skeletal mages, now boosted, unleashed concentrated firepower against the monsters. Without the status buffs, the spirit attribute of the level 33 skeletal mages was 98,000, but with the status buffs, it soared to nearly 130,000. Although their skills remained the same, but their power had increased significantly compared to when they were level 30. The 260 skeletal mages focused their attacks on a single monster, killing it instantly, even without the damage curse. When the first monster fell, Lin Moyu switched from slow curse to damage curse. Skill, corpse explosion. Explosions echoed through the eartheart world. Mu Shenxian, terrified, covered her ears, nearly falling. Her courage was truly pitiful, leaving Lin Moyu wondering how she had reached level 59. Lin Moyu cast corpse explosion repeatedly. The explosions continued for several minutes before finally fading away. A barrage of notifications popped up, and his storage space filled with 188 earth shards. Each monster had yielded 2 shards. Lin Moyu glanced at Mu Shenxian with a shade of praise. No wonder Collection Master was such a popular class. Even if it meant sacrificing a damage dealer, parties would still bring a Collection Master for the doubled rewards. Who wouldn't want that? No wonder, Lin Moyu murmured. If it were him, he'd also want to team up with such a Collection Master. Mu Shenxian finally lowered her hands and asked softly, is it over? Lin Moyu replied, this is just the first wave. There are more to come. Mu Shenxian made an O sound and said, "All right." The two continued deeper into the canyon, with the skeletal warriors already moving ahead to draw more monsters. Curious, Lin Moyu asked, "How did you reach level 59? Mu Shenxian answered truthfully, "Sister Yeyu and the others helped me level up. I usually don't fight monsters, I just follow the party and use the collection skill." Lin Moyu found it even more strange, "But I've noticed your combat sense isn't half bad. In the core area, you knew how many monsters you could handle." Mu Shenxian whispered, "That's because of my talent." Lin Moyu was surprised to learn she had a talent. A talent, plus an extremely rare legendary class, it seemed heaven truly favored her. "What is your talent?" Lin Moyu asked. Mu Shenxian trusted Lin Moyu and didn't hesitate to share, "It's called combat instinct. I know how many monsters I can handle, how many I should fight, and I can naturally master combat skills without needing to learn or train." Lin Moyu was speechless. This talent would be perfect for a combat-oriented class. However, for Mu Shenxian, a timid collection master. Looking at the maul on her shoulder, Lin Moyu thought, well, it's not bad. All things considered, she was a half-combat class user, comparable to an ordinary warrior, with rather high attributes. Chapter 271, The Heart of the Earth, Plant-type Boss. The Earthirt dungeon was a vast, straight path, resembling a canyon or a massive cavern, without any twists or turns. The monsters within were varied and bizarre, larger, tougher, and stronger versions of different animals. Lin Moyu directed his skeletal warriors to lure out the creatures hiding in the dungeon. Each time, 80 to 90 monsters were gathered, allowing Mu Shenxian to use her group collection skill, after which they were swiftly eliminated. This strategy effectively doubled the rewards. As time passed, Lin Moyu and Mu Shenxian grew more accustomed to working together. Mu Shenxian, though timid, was otherwise flawless. Despite being level 59, she retained a sense of innocence, her life experience is simple, and her thoughts and personality just as uncomplicated, as if a blank sheet of paper. After another group of monsters was dealt with, the skeletal warriors moved on to lure more. Mu Shenxian, having overcome her initial panic, quickly adapted to Lin Moyu's method of mass extermination, her battle instinct having kicked it. While walking, Lin Moyu asked, "Why did you set up a tombstone for me?" Mu Shenxian replied softly, "When you lured the archaic Luaniao away, we thought you sacrificed yourself so we could survive. We saw the explosions from a distance and assumed you hadn't survived, so we set up a tombstone in remembrance." Lin Moyu found her reasoning sound and couldn't refute it. And seeing as the tombstone was already in ruins, the matter could be put to rest. Another wave of monsters approached, and Mu Shenxian diligently played her part. Lin Moyu efficiently cleared them, reaping double the amount of earth shards. In just 2 hours, they had collected 1,000 earth shards, which fused into a mass of earthy yellow light, eventually forming an unremarkable yellow stone emitting a faint, peculiar earth elemental aura. Heart of the Earth, essential item for becoming an Earth Knight. Lin Moyu had encountered many pure element type gems before, but the Heart of the Earth was different. It wasn't just pure element, it held a strange energy as well, an energy that felt oddly familiar. After a moment of contemplation, it dawned on him, it feels somewhat similar to the energy released during class awakening. The Heart of the Earth could help a Sacred Knight transition to an Earth Knight and even increase the probability of class sublimation during the second awakening. With this item, the human race might once again witness the birth of a new Earth Knight. Mu Shenxian's big eyes lit up with wonder, so this is the Heart of the Earth. I heard Earth Knights are incredibly powerful. Have you ever seen one? Lin Moyu asked. Mu Shenxian shook her head, no, but I've read about them. Earth Knights are said to be the pinnacle of the Knight class, even stronger than Sacred Light Knights or Elemental Knights. Not even Dragonkin's Dragon Knights can compare. The Dragon Knight was the most powerful Knight class among the Dragonkind and was shockingly rare. However, when Dragon Knights and Earth Knights clashed in the past, the Earth Knights emerged victorious, solidifying their class's reputation as the strongest Knight class. Lin Moyu gazed into the distance, maybe one day, we'll see one in person. After all, records could never capture the full picture, nothing compared to witnessing it firsthand. Lin Moyu was eager to see the true might of the Earth Knight class. When they reached the end of the canyon, they were met with intense heat, the air filled with the pungent smell of sulfur. The surroundings were tinted in red and yellow, shrouded in a hazy yellow fog. At the canyon's edge lay a cliff, below which molten lava flowed freely. The landscape below was a stunning mix of flowing lava and boiling water. Awesome, Mu Shenxian couldn't help but exclaim again. Lin Moyu, having seen her react this way many times before, was already accustomed to it. His keen eyes and strong spirit attribute allowed him to sense things beyond his immediate line of sight. Amidst the lava, he noticed scattered black dots, hidden monsters lurking within. The lava and boiling water intertwined, flowing into the distance. Far off, a lava waterfall seemed to cascade down, partially obscured by the thick yellow fog, making it difficult to see clearly. With a thought, Lin Moyu sent his skeletal warriors down the cliff. Although the dungeon was of nightmare rank and the monsters weren't particularly strong, Lin Moyu remained vigilant. Without Mu Shenxian, he would have only gathered half of the materials needed for the heart of the earth at this time. The remaining materials would have to be obtained from the dangerous world of lava and boiling water. This was the latter part of the dungeon, where the difficulty was bound to escalate. The heart of the earth wasn't easily acquired. If it were, Earth Knights wouldn't be so rare. Suddenly, a tentacle shot out from the lava, wrapping around a skeletal warrior and dragging it into the molten depths. It was so swift that Lin Moyu couldn't react in time. The skeletal warrior, scorched by the lava, fought back instinctively, slashing at the tentacle with its blade. However, the more the tentacle was injured, the tighter it clamped down. The strikes from the skeletal warrior sent up columns of fire, which shot from the lava and reached heights of over 10 meters. The tentacle trembled, on the verge of being sundered, but it stubbornly held on. What kind of creature could this be? Hidden beneath the lava, its shape was hard to discern with the naked eye. The tentacle desperately coiled around the skeletal warrior, pulling it down further. Meanwhile, several nearby skeletal warriors rushed over to help. Soon, a large amount of lava and sulfurous boiling water erupted into the air, and more tentacles shot out, dragging the nearby skeletons into the lava. Lin Moyu, observing the situation, gave an order, and a Lich General swiftly made its way down. However, just as the Lich General reached the edge of the lava, another tentacle emerged and dragged it in as well. Lin Moyu commanded the skeletons to stop resisting, allowing the tentacles to drag them further into the depths. As the tentacles moved swiftly beneath the lava, traveling over 1,000 meters in the blink of an eye. Lin Moyu mentally mapped the terrain below, a network of winding tunnels filled with powerful fish-snake hybrid monsters about 2 meters in length. As the skeletal warriors were dragged past these creatures, they swarmed to attack. Their strikes were formidable, and Lin Moyu estimated their strength attribute to be between 50,000 and 60,000. They were stronger than the monsters he had defeated earlier. Meanwhile, the Lich General continued to cast its healing spell, emitting white light that treated the injuries of both itself and the skeletal warriors. For the time being, they were safe from immediate danger. After several dozen seconds, Lin Moyu finally glimpsed the owner of the tentacles, a colossal flower blooming in the lava. The tentacles were its roots, stretching from its base and spreading across the entire lava field. Above the flower, the lava waterfall poured immense amounts of molten rock over it, effectively watering the gigantic bloom. A plant-type boss, how rare. Let's go, Lin Moyu said, jumping down with Mu Shenxian close behind. As soon as Lin Moyu started moving, the skeletal warriors trapped in the lava unleashed their skill. Berserk Strike. The skeletal warriors executed powerful attacks, severing the tentacles. Lava shot into the air, followed by a rain of fire that scorched the ground. When the fire fell into pools of sulfurous water, it created large clouds of yellow smoke. The skeletal warriors broke free from their restraints, bringing the Lich General up with them. A swarm of monsters followed them out of the lava. These creatures had numerous small legs beneath them, enabling them to move swiftly even outside the lava. They chased after the skeletal warriors and the Lich General, biting at them with sharp teeth that made metallic clanging sounds upon impact. Chapter 272, 3 Hearts of the Earth, Light Ahead. The monsters went berserk, viciously attacking the skeletons. Countless tentacles surged from the lava, whipping the skeletal warriors. Thousands upon thousands of these tentacles lashed out, striking at an incredible rate, dozens of times per second. Fortunately, the attacks weren't powerful, and the Lich General managed to keep pace. The skeletons retaliated fiercely, their blades swiftly cutting down the monstrous fish in pursuit. Killed level 55 Earth Fire Fish, EXP plus 1,100,000. Obtained Earth Shard. Lin Moyu noted the notifications. Although the level 55 monsters were weaker than those in the core area, but the skeletal warriors were killing them too quickly. By the time Lin Moyu arrived, dozens had already been slain, costing him dozens of earth shards. Lin Moyu cast the detection spell, curious about the plant-type boss. Flower of the Earth, Elite Leader. Level, 56. Strength, 80,000. Agility, 20,000. Spirit, 20,000. Physique, 120,000. Skills, Flail, Pollen, Regeneration. Traits, Fire Elemental Immunity, 50% elemental damage reduction, 50% physical damage reduction. It turned out to be an elite leader, not a boss. With total attributes of 240,000, it was noticeably weaker than a boss of the same level, which could have attributes totaling up to 300,000. Without waiting for instructions, Mu Shenxian charged forward. Skill, Group Collection. Her skill scattered like fireworks, engulfing the monsters, including the Flower of the Earth. Instantly, the flower ceased its attacks on the skeletal warriors and redirected its tentacles toward Mu Shenxian. The earth fire fish also swarmed her. Mu Shenxian squealed and quickly retreated as the tentacles lashed out at her with incredible speed. Despite being struck repeatedly, her bone armor absorbed all the hits, shimmering with each impact. Unaware of the bone armor's protection, she dashed back to Lin Moyu's side without looking back, which amused him. As a level 59 player who had conquered countless dungeons, how could she still be so timid? A faint red light flickered as Lin Moyu cast Damage Curse, followed by a series of explosions. It was harvest time. The earth fire fish were obliterated in the blink of an eye. The flower of the earth was severely injured, its petals blown off and falling into the lava. Enraged, the flower of the earth caused the entire lava field to tremble. Countless tentacles burst from the ground, transforming the area into a forest of writhing vines. Every 100 tentacles twisted together, forming thick, powerful vines that struck with immense force, sending the skeletal warriors flying. They actually merged. The attack power has increased significantly. Lin Moyu mused, assessing the damage inflicted on his skeletal warriors. Although the combined tentacles were stronger, but that still wasn't enough. The skeletal warriors counterattacked, slicing through the vines, while the skeletal mages unleashed a barrage of spells aimed at the flower of the earth. As long as its main body was destroyed, the tentacles would become lifeless. As the flower of the earth raged, hundreds of earth fire fish leapt from the lava and sulfurous water. The sheer number of monsters, combined with the flailing tentacles, caused the timid Mu Shenxian to break out in a cold sweat again. Despite being only nightmare rank monsters, their sheer numbers were overwhelming. For a mere 6-person party, entering the dungeon would be suicidal. A minimum of 18 people, if not more, would be necessary to ensure safety. Earthirk Dungeon had no party size restriction, allowing for larger groups. But for just 2 people to clear it seemed impossible. This was why neither the Abyssal Demons nor the Dragonkand had tried to stop Lin Moyu and Mu Shenxian, they expected them to perish inside. But things didn't go as they had predicted. Glancing at the composed Lin Moyu, Mu Shenxian felt reassured. She knew that Lin Moyu was essentially soloing the dungeon, with her merely a supporting character. But she didn't mind, she had grown to enjoy this role. "It's your turn," Lin Moyu said. "Okay," Mu Shenxian responded cheerfully, darting forward to launch another round of fireworks. The monsters were so numerous that one round wasn't enough. She kept setting off fireworks until all the monsters were glittering, then quickly retreated, just in time to hear the deafening explosions. Skill, Corpse Explosion. Lin Moyu detonated one corpse after another, turning the area into a chaotic inferno of flying lava and sulfurous water, filling the air with thick smoke and the stench of sulfur. The bone armor activated automatically, shielding them from the toxic fumes. The flower of the earth was severely injured once again, its vines and tentacles blasted apart and scattered across the ground. But then it glowed, drawing large amounts of lava toward it, rapidly regenerating itself. Skill, Regeneration. Mu Shenxian observed, plant-type monsters have exceptionally high health. The only way to deal with them is to take them out in a single blow. Lin Moyu understood her meaning, plant-type monsters were notoriously resilient. Suddenly, the flower of the earth released a cloud of pollen that exploded in midair. The bone armor absorbed the impact, while the skeletons began hurling earth fire fish corpses toward the flower of the earth. Lin Moyu resumed his corpse explosion skill. The explosions were relentless. With hundreds of corpses available, there was plenty of fuel. The skeletons kept throwing while Lin Moyu kept detonating, determined not to stop until the kill notification appeared. The lava pool housing the flower of the earth was completely destroyed, with lava flying in all directions. The lava waterfall reversed, raining molten rock down and turning the area into a fiery wasteland. Killed level 56 flower of the earth, EXP plus 2,240,000. Obtained earth shard x 500. Obtained earth shard through collection x 500. The kill notification finally appeared, and Lin Moyu ceased his attacks. Plant-type monsters were indeed tough, requiring at least 50 explosions to completely destroy the flower of the earth. The harvest was bountiful. The flower of the earth provided 500 earth shards, with another 500 obtained through collection, equivalent to 1 heart of the earth. Combined with the shards from the earth fire fish, Lin Moyu now had enough for another heart of the earth. In one go, Lin Moyu had acquired 2 hearts of the earth, a rare and valuable resource. With 3 hearts of the earth in hand, and the dungeon raid far from over, Lin Moyu and Mu Shenxian pressed on. After the flower of the earth was vanquished, the lava waterfall disappeared, the land lost its vitality, and the flowing lava cooled and solidified. The sulfurous water stopped boiling. "Let's go," Lin Moyu said. They leapt onto the cliff and continued forward. The new land they reached should have had channels of flowing lava, but the lava had cooled, leaving solid ground in its place. They traveled for a while without encountering any monsters. Even the skeletal warriors, scouting ahead, found nothing. The vast, empty black land felt eerie. The elemental aura was even more intense here, as if every inch of the ground exuded a rich earth element. The stranger the situation, the more cautious Lin Moyu became. This area was enormous, even larger than the previous 2. The light from the glowing mushrooms grew dimmer, and the space darkened. "There's light ahead," Mu Shenxian suddenly pointed out. After walking for what seemed like ages, they finally saw something different, a red light, like a distant lamp, glowing on the dark ground. Chapter 273, Archaic Earth Dragon, Weakened Boss. As they approached, they realized the red glow emanated from lava, and its source was a colossal creature, curled up on the ground like a small mountain, at least 10 meters tall. If it stood up, it would likely exceed 30 meters in height. The source of the dungeon's lava was the creature's drool, dripping from its mouth as it slept. Since the ground had already cooled, when lava droplets fell from the corners of its mouth now, they solidified into stone shortly after hitting the ground. Needless to say, this was the dungeon's true boss. "It's huge," Mu Shenxian gasped, covering her mouth. This boss was even larger than the archaic Luaniao they had encountered in the core area. A detection spell fell on the boss and revealed its attributes. Archaic Earth Dragon, Weakened Lord Rank Boss. Level 58. Strength 130,000. Agility 60,000. Spirit 60,000. Physique 150,000. Skills: Fire Dragon Breath, War Stomp, Dragon Tail Swipe. Traits: 70% physical damage reduction, 70% elemental damage reduction, curse effect greatly weakened. Lin Moyu instinctively felt a sense of caution upon seeing the word, archaic, recalling the archaic Luaniao. However, after examining its attributes, he breathed a sigh of relief. With a total of 400,000 in attributes, it was comparable to a level 56 world rank boss. It was manageable. Mu Shenxian quietly asked, "What does weakened lord rank bosses mean?" Lin Moyu shook his head, equally puzzled, no idea. This was his first time encountering a weakened monster. Mu Shenxian furrowed her brow. "I've seen enhanced monsters before, which are stronger than others of their type. But a weakened monster, this is new to me." As they pondered, the archaic earth dragon stirred. It was waking up. A blast of hot air shot from its massive nostrils, like a Force 12 hurricane, triggering the bone armor. So strong, Lin Moyu felt a chill in his heart. He decided to strike first, summoning all 13 undead legions, 2,600 skeletal warriors and 1,690 skeletal mages. The Lich generals applied status buffs, their white light illuminating the dark terrain. The skeletal mages spread out, encircling the archaic earth dragon, while the skeletal warriors charged forward. Just as the archaic earth dragon stood up, shaking its massive body, another blast of wind erupted, momentarily halting the skeletal warriors. Now towering over 30 meters, the boss was even more terrifying. Its enormous size made every slight movement cause significant upheaval. Glancing at the charging skeletal warriors as if they were mere ants, it casually lifted its feet and stomped down. Skill: War Stomp. The ground cracked like a spiderweb. The skeletal warriors were flung back like raindrops, severely injured. So strong. Lin Moyu narrowed his eyes and muttered, realizing that while the dragon's attributes seemed manageable, its skills were overwhelmingly powerful. With just one blow, it had nearly wiped out the skeletal warriors. The Lich generals began healing, streaks of white light illuminating the battlefield as the skeletal warriors were quickly restored. No matter how powerful the attack, as long as they weren't instantly killed, they could keep fighting. Despite many being blasted away, more skeletal warriors continued to climb, reminiscent of the vision from the class awakening ceremony. Their attacks rained down on the archaic earth dragon, producing sounds like metal clashing. However, the boss's thick scales provided an incredibly strong defense. With its formidable 150,000 strong physique attribute, the skeletal warrior's attacks could only inflict negligible damage. "Let's grind it down," Lin Moyu uttered, tapping the air with his finger. Skill. Damage Curse. A tiny red sword pattern appeared on the archaic earth dragon's head, though its color was duller than usual. Lin Moyu realized the boss's trait had significantly weakened the curse's effect, by at least 60%. Still, it was better than nothing. With the curse, the damage dealt by the skeletons increased noticeably. The skeletal mages rained magic spells on the boss from a distance of 200 meters, forming a massive circle. The archaic earth dragon opened its mouth and roared. Skill. Fire Dragon Breath. The scorching breath ignited the skeletal warriors one after another, pushing them to the brink of death. Before the Lich generals could heal them, the boss's massive tail swept across the battlefield. Skill. Dragon Tail Swipe. Over 100 skeletal warriors were sent flying, with more than 30 shattering in midair. Lin Moyu felt a pang of heartache and said in a grave voice, even though its attributes are weakened, its skills are still as powerful as ever. Despite the reduction in its attributes, but the boss's skills remained just as potent as before. Otherwise, if it were an ordinary Lord rank boss, it wouldn't have been able to decimate the skeletal warriors so quickly. With one breath and a tail swipe, Lin Moyu had already lost 30+ skeletal warriors. His recently replenished undead legions were suffering losses once again. He glanced at the time, over 5 hours remained until the Earthirt dungeon closed. They had already spent nearly 4 hours inside. If we can finish the battle within half an hour, we might have time to clear the dungeon again. He thought, torn between wanting to complete another run and minimizing further losses to his skeletons. Lin Moyu decided to join the battle himself, and Soul Blaze ignited in his hand and then landed on the boss's head. The archaic earth dragon suddenly paused, its massive eyes locking onto Lin Moyu. For a moment, Lin Moyu was stunned. There was no reaction. Could Soul Blaze have failed? It seemed impossible. Whether it was against godly mage Shu Yan or the archaic Luaniao, Soul Blaze had always been successful. Yet, against the archaic earth dragon, the skill appeared to have failed. Though the damage was there, but the boss showed no signs of pain. No, it feels the pain. Lin Moyu realized, seeing the anger in the archaic earth dragon's eyes. Watch out. He quickly pulled Mu Shenxian behind him, casting bone armor on both of them. Roar. The boss's fire dragon breath was already heading their way, its scorching heat triggering their bone armor to shimmer. Then, War Stomp followed, giving Lin Moyu no chance to evade. With a loud bang, both were sent flying, their bone armor shattering. Lin Moyu reacted quickly, recasting bone armor in midair on both himself and Mu Shenxian. Mu Shenxian's face was pale, she was clearly injured. Unlike Lin Moyu, she didn't have the damage transfer skill, so she bore the full brunt of the damage. The two crashed to the ground, more than 100 meters away. Lin Moyu handed her several recovery potions. Move further away for now. I'll call you later. Mu Shenxian nodded and quickly retreated. But the archaic earth dragon wasn't satisfied, charging at Lin Moyu, covering a dozen meters with each step. In just a few strides, it was right in front of him, stomping down with considerable force. This time, it wasn't using War Stomp, it was just a regular stomp. But the power was still great. Lin Moyu quickly summoned several Lich generals to shield him. Though they lacked combat power, the Lich generals had the strongest physique among his summons, and their tall stature made them ideal for blocking the boss's attack. Simultaneously, Lin Moyu raised his hands, aiming at the boss's feet. White light flashed on his fingertips as he unleashed Bone Fangs. In under a second, he fired Bone Fangs 6 times, the fangs glistening with wild light piercing the boss's feet, creating bloody holes. The archaic earth dragon roared, clearly in pain, lifting its feet to stomp again, its feet glowing with the skill's light. Skill, War Stomp. But Lin Moyu was ready, continuously reapplying bone armor to perfectly block the attack. He then pointed at the archaic earth dragon and cast a skill. Skill, Poison Star Ring. The archaic earth dragon was instantly dyed green. Subsequently, Lin Moyu unleashed Soul Blaze repeatedly. Having already drawn its aggro, he stepped into the role of a tank once more. Enraged, the archaic earth dragon focused all its attacks on Lin Moyu, completely ignoring the skeletal warriors and skeletal mages. Keep fighting, cut it down, Lin Moyu commanded as the battle raged on. Chapter 274, Instacle, Great Rewards. Lin Moyu sighed inwardly, realizing he had been approaching the battle incorrectly. As a necromancer, he wasn't meant to engage in direct combat. He could watch from a distance, letting his skeletons gradually wear down the enemy. He could even afford to take a nap. However, the urgency of the situation forced him to act as a tank. He didn't want his skeletons to suffer losses, and time was pressing. The skeletal warriors swarmed the archaic earth dragon, attacking relentlessly. Hundreds had already climbed onto it, with more at its legs and under its body. Over 1,000 skeletal warriors were positioned to unleash their skill simultaneously. The 1,690 skeletal mages had stopped their fire. Come over here and cast collection, quick! Lin Moyu shouted once everything was ready. Mu Shenxian responded immediately. At level 59, she was much faster than Lin Moyu. She dashed over and released a burst of fireworks, and then retreated even faster. As the fireworks exploded, Lin Moyu activated his most powerful skill, Enhanced Troops. Enhanced Troops, for 30 seconds, increases all basic attributes of the host and their summons by 200%, and all attacks deal an additional 500% of damage. Cooldown, 1 hour. The rune on his hand glowed brightly, sending radiant light to every skeletal warrior. Their attributes surged, and they unleashed their Berserk Strike skill. With Enhanced Troops active, the level 33 skeletal warriors' strength attributes skyrocketed from 52,000 to 156,000. With the Lich General's Legion enhancement, their strength reached 200,000. Berserk Strike then multiplied their damage by 400%, equating to 800,000 points of strength, plus an additional 500% damage. Despite the archaic earth dragon's 70% physical damage reduction, the damage from this strike was still significant. The same held true for the skeletal mages, whose spirit attribute neared 400,000 after Enhanced Troops and Legion enhancement, plus an additional 500% damage. Their skills now dealt astronomical damage. Lin Moyu was certain the archaic earth dragon wouldn't withstand the onslaught. As the archaic earth dragon turned its attention to Mu Shenxian, glowing with mottled light spots. But before it could take any action, Lin Moyu's soul blaze drilled into its head. Thanks to Enhanced Troops, his spirit force had increased significantly, and Soul Blaze's power rose sharply, inflicting unbearable pain on the boss. The archaic earth dragon finally screamed in agony, shifting its focus back to Lin Moyu, opening its mouth to unleash a breath. But at that moment, the skeletons' attacks landed. Over 1,000 skeletal warriors unleashed their most powerful strike, filling the sky with crimson radiance in a breathtaking display. Simultaneously, 1,690 magic spells streaked through the air, illuminating the dungeon in a cascade of brilliant light. The archaic earth dragon let out a final, agonized roar before collapsing, the light in its eyes gradually dimming until it was completely extinguished. Killed archaic earth dragon, EXP plus 5,800,000. Obtained earth dragon armor. Obtained earth crystal. Obtained earth gem. Obtained heart of the earth. Obtained earth dragon armor through collection. Obtained earth crystal through collection. Obtained earth gem through collection. Obtained heart of the earth through collection. Earth dragon armor warrior exclusive platinum rank protective equipment, all attributes plus 2,000, taken damage reduced by 20%. Supplementary skill, total defense. Total defense. For 1 minute, defense increased 1,000-fold and damage taken reduced by 99%. Cooldown, 20 minutes. Earth Dragon Armor Warrior Exclusive Platinum Rank Protective Equipment, all attributes plus 2,000, taken damage reduced by 20%. Earth Crystal, can be combined with other single-element elemental crystals to create an elemental divine stone, which can increase the chances of class sublimation during the third class awakening. The more elements fused, the stronger the stone's effect. Can also be used alone to permanently enhance physical resistance, but doing so prevents its use in forming the elemental divine stone. Earth Gem. Permanently reduces physical damage by 50% and may grant a physical type skill. When used by a sacred knight during the second class awakening, it significantly increases the chance of class sublimation. Heart of the Earth. Essential item for becoming an Earth Knight. The archaic Earth Dragon was instantly slain in the all-out attack, leaving no room for suspense. The enhanced troops skill, incredibly powerful on its own, became unstoppable in Lin Moyu's hands. Thanks to the collection skill, Lin Moyu received double rewards, including 2 pieces of the Earth Dragon armor, each with different attributes. One had an exceptional supplementary skill, while the other didn't. But the real treasures were Earth Gem and Earth Crystal, which were unexpected and valuable gains. Lin Moyu couldn't help but feel a surge of joy. Teaming up with a collection master was incredibly profitable, especially for someone like him who usually fought solo. Mu Shenxian, full of excitement, ran over and exclaimed, "Awesome! You actually instackled the boss." Lin Moyu smiled and handed her the Earth Dragon armor with the supplementary skill. Mu Shenxian was overjoyed. "Is this for me?" Lin Moyu responded with a check if it's better than your own armor. Mu Shenxian quickly examined the attributes and immediately switched to the new armor, visibly delighted. The brand new Earth Dragon armor accentuated her graceful figure, and she clearly loved it. She didn't ask about the other items, displaying her pure and unselfish nature. Lin Moyu thought for a moment and tossed her an Earth Gem. "Use it now." Mu Shenxian was startled by the Earth Gem's effects. "Isn't it a waste to give this to me?" she asked, surprised. Given its powerful attributes, she believed Lin Moyu should use it himself or at least give it to a Knight-type class user. It seemed like a waste to give it to her. Lin Moyu dismissed her concerns. "Stop talking nonsense. Use it quickly. We still have more dungeon runs to complete." "Oh." Without further argument, Mu Shenxian activated the Earth Gem, and an earthy yellow light enveloped her. Meanwhile, Lin Moyu fused an Earth Crystal with his Elemental Divine Stone, gaining an Elemental Divine Stone with fire, poison, and earth elements. Elemental Divine Stone Fire, Poison, Earth increases the chances of class sublimation by 10% during the third class awakening. Even though a 3-element Elemental Divine Stone only increased the sublimation chance by 10%, Lin Moyu needed more elemental crystals to boost his odds further. As for the Earth Gem, he didn't need it. He planned to see if the boss would drop Earth Gem again. If not, he'd save it for Shi Xing'an to enhance his chances of becoming an Earth Knight. Lin Moyu already had a passive physical resistance skill that reduced physical damage by 4 times. Even without upgrading the passive skill, his physical resistance would increase as his talent was promoted. Additionally, as a mage, he didn't need physical type skills. His existing abilities, like damage transfer and bone armor, kept him safe as long as he didn't act recklessly. The light around Mu Shenxian faded as the fusion completed. From now on, all physical damage dealt to her would be reduced by 50%. "Did you get a skill?" Lin Moyu asked. Mu Shenxian's eyes lit up. "Yes, I got a physical type skill called Daze. Daze has a chance to stun an opponent for 5 seconds. Cooldown, 5 seconds. Against higher level opponents, the stun duration decreases accordingly. I finally have a warrior type skill. Thank you, thank you." Hearing the skill's name, Lin Moyu felt a twinge of envy. If Mu Shenxian's strength exceeded her opponent's physique, she could potentially stun them indefinitely. Though less useful in group battles, Daze could be a godly skill in one-on-one duels. Mu Shenxian was ecstatic, jumping up and down with excitement. Lin Moyu smiled. "It's a great skill. Get ready, we're leaving the dungeon and going back in right away." The dungeon run had taken 4 hours, leaving them with 4 hours and 40 minutes before the Earthirt dungeon closed, just enough time for another run, or maybe even 2. Chapter 275, A New Round of Speedrun. Exhilarating. Lin Moyu and Mu Shenxian appeared outside the dungeon. Wasting no time, Lin Moyu used a cooldown talisman to reset the dungeon's cooldown, his own talisman, not the advanced one from Bai Yiyuan. Within seconds, they re-entered the dungeon. Meanwhile, outside, the 3 factions remained locked in a standoff, a familiar scenario that would persist until the dungeon closed. "They're out. Wait, why did they go back in? They didn't die in there. This dungeon has no exit. Did they actually clear it? Is that even possible?" The human class users were stunned, disbelief etched on their faces. The Earthirt dungeon was notorious, there was no way out unless it was cleared or the dungeon itself disappeared. That Lin Moyu and Mu Shenxian had exited could only mean they had cleared it. Now, they were starting a second run. Zhang Hanshan thought to himself, of course it's possible. Only those who had witnessed Lin Moyu's abilities firsthand were not surprised. With his undead legions, soloing the dungeon was well within his capabilities. Jialin Yeyu, relieved to see Mu Shenxian safe, breathed easier. Having grown up together, their bond was like that of sisters. With Mu Shenxian out of harm's way, her tension eased. Zhang Hanshan narrowed his eyes, stay vigilant, everyone. When Colonel Lin exits next, the Abyssal Demons and Dragonkind will likely launch a surprise attack. He understood that the Abyssal Demons and Dragonkind would do anything to prevent the rise of another Earth Knight, a class that had historically dealt them severe blows. Their next course of action was clear: eliminate Lin Moyu. Understood. Everyone snapped to attention, prepared to engage in battle at a moment's notice. On the other sides, the eyes of the Abyssal Demons and Dragonkind flickered with dangerous glints. Their leaders had convened. The demon leader observed, it took him 4 hours the first time. He might be faster the second time, perhaps 3 hours. The Dragonkind leader replied, we're prepared. Next time he emerges, we'll strike. We cannot allow another Earth Knight to rise from the human race. The threat posed by a godly Earth Knight surpasses that of 3 godly powerhouses of other classes. Our race has an unbreakable rule: stop humans from birthing an Earth Knight at all costs. Inside the dungeon, Lin Moyu stood at the entrance, deep in thought. The enhanced troops skill has a 1-hour cooldown. Without it, defeating the archaic Earth Dragon would be extremely challenging. Even at top speed, it'll take 1 hour per raid. Noticing his pensive state, Mu Shenxian refrained from interrupting him. She was feeling a surge of excitement. A new piece of equipment with an incredible supplementary skill and a new warrior-type skill, plus a 50% physical damage immunity, her gains were tremendous. She couldn't help but feel thrilled. Suddenly, Lin Moyu looked up. Maybe I don't need to rely on enhanced troops. If I'm fast enough, I could use the Flower of the Earth and Earth Fire Fish to bomb the archaic Earth Dragon. I wonder what would happen if I detonated a leader monster. Plant-type monsters possessed astonishing health. Lin Moyu was curious about detonating the plant-type leader, pondering the potential effects. If his theory held, he could complete several more raids. Given the cooldown of enhanced troops, he estimated he could raid the dungeon 3 to 4 more times. His eyes lit up with determination. It had been a long time since he'd done a speedrun. He was pumped. Mu Shenxian, have you ever tried speedrunning? Speedrunning. Mu Shenxian shook her head, indicating she didn't understand. Lin Moyu instructed, in a moment, I'll be drawing the monsters. Stay close to me. When I start gathering them, use your group collection skill as you see fit. If it doesn't feel right, don't force it, you'll need to judge for yourself. But when it comes to the leader and the boss, you must use collection without fail. Speedrunning meant sacrificing some gains. As long as they secured the main loot, they could skip the smaller rewards. Mu Shenxian listened attentively, nodding vigorously, got it, I'll do my best. Good, let's start. Lin Moyu cast bone armor on both of them, then issued a soft command. Skeletal warriors materialized in response. To draw the monsters, 2 legions, 400 skeletal warriors, were enough. The skeletal warriors charged through the canyon like the wind. This time, without needing to pull the monsters in batches, they sprinted straight through. Some monsters were too well hidden, so Lin Moyu decided to leave them be, sparing their lives. A large number of monsters were drawn out by the skeletal warriors, and their numbers quickly swelled. In the first section of the dungeon, there were about 500 monsters. Skipping some, Lin Moyu ended up pulling around 400. These 400 creatures filled a vast area, and as they ran, stones flew, and water splashed, creating a breathtaking scene. Mu Shenxian followed Lin Moyu closely, finally grasping the essence of speedrunning, clearing the dungeon at lightning speed. The realization filled her with excitement. As she thought about it, her battle instinct talent activated, sharpening her focus. With her talent in full effect, Mu Shenxian shed her fear, her mind becoming clear and focused. As the monsters converged, she let out a shout and charged forward with newfound confidence. Skill. Group collection. A large burst of fireworks exploded, spreading to its maximum range and affecting as many monsters as possible. In an instant, she drew the attention of 200 monsters. The 200 monsters simultaneously abandoned their original targets and charged at Mu Shenxian. But instead of retreating, she cleverly circled around the outer perimeter of the group. Lin Moyu observed that the monsters Mu Shenxian attracted were mostly in the rear half of the group. Meanwhile, many others still had their focus elsewhere, leaving the front lines intact. Smart move, Lin Moyu thought, noting her strategy. As Mu Shenxian ran, she kept an eye on the cooldown of her skill. 10 seconds later, she activated group collection again, drawing the attention of all the remaining monsters. She gathered the monsters even faster than Lin Moyu had. All the monsters now focused on her. But instead of fleeing, Mu Shenxian gave Lin Moyu a trusting look. Skill, Total Defense. Mu Shenxian activated her newly acquired skill, causing her entire body to glow. For the next minute, her defense surged 1,000-fold, and the damage she received was reduced by 99%. The remaining 1% of damage was negligible due to her greatly enhanced defense. For that minute, Mu Shenxian was virtually invincible, her tanking ability surpassing even that of dedicated tanks. Lin Moyu hadn't expected her to act like this. This compatibility was nothing short of flawless. Without wasting any time, he sprang into action as soon as Mu Shenxian cast group collection for the second time. Over 200 magic spells tore through the air, the skeletal warrior's blades glowed with a fierce red light, Soul Blaze danced in his palm, and Damage Curse descended in a burst of red energy. A monster was instantly killed. Then, a series of explosions echoed through the dungeon, leaving only silence in their wake. After a dozen or so blasts, the area fell silent. Notifications flooded in, too many to read. Lin Moyu gave Mu Shenxian an appreciating glance. Well done. Blushing slightly, Mu Shenxian smiled. Thank you. Let's keep going, Lin Moyu urged. Since they were speedrunning, there was no time to waste. The skeletal warriors picked up the monster corpses and sprinted forward, leaping off the cliff. Lin Moyu and Mu Shenxian followed suit. The second section of the dungeon was a world filled with lava and sulfurous water. The skeletal warriors headed straight for the flower of the earth, drawing numerous earth-fire fish along the way. Despite the plant-type leader's tentacles emerging from the lava and sulfurous water, the skeletal warriors were too fast, so not many were caught. After reaching the flower of the earth, the skeletal warriors threw corpses to fall next to it. Lin Moyu and Mu Shenxian arrived shortly after. Mu Shenxian promptly cast group collection on the plant-type leader, drawing its wrath. Its tentacles lashed out, but bone armor blocked them. Buzz! Lin Moyu's damage curse descended, followed by explosions. After just 3 blasts, the flower of the earth was severely injured, and the nearby earth fire fish were annihilated. In the next moment, the flower of the earth activated its regeneration skill, rapidly healing itself. Simultaneously, its tentacles erupted from the ground, forming thick vines, while over 200 earth fire fish surged out of the lava. Mu Shenxian shouted and cast group collection again. Although she couldn't capture all the earth fire fish, she managed to affect at least 80% of them. Explosions rang out one after another as the skeletons were hurling corpses onto the flower of the earth. Lin Moyu seized every second, wasting no time at all. Mu Shenxian was amazed by the speed of the raid. Less than half an hour had passed since they re-entered the dungeon, with most of that time spent running. The actual combat had lasted less than 5 minutes. Having witnessed firsthand what Lin Moyu referred to as a speedrun, Mu Shenxian felt exhilarated. The efficiency and intensity of his approach left her in awe. As explosions echoed through the dungeon, the flower of the earth was blown to pieces, its demise even more brutal than before. It didn't even have a chance to fight back. Without waiting for the lava to cool, the ground to harden, or the waterfall of lava to disappear, the skeletons quickly grabbed the corpses of the earth fire fish and the flower of the earth and leapt onto the cliff, wasting no time. The flower of the earth's corpse was large and cumbersome, so the skeletal warriors hacked off its tentacles for easier transport. 4 of them then carried it, rushing toward the archaic earth dragon. Watching them, Mu Shenxian sighed. The flower of the earth probably never imagined it would be dismembered after death. Lin Moyu gave her a curious look. This girl had some unusual thoughts. Chapter 276. Could he be a reincarnated boss? Lin Moyu's running speed was too slow to keep up with the skeletal warriors, so he had no choice but to let one of them carry him. The ride was uncomfortable, with the bones poking into him, but he gritted his teeth and endured it. Seeing Lin Moyu's grimace, Mu Shenxian blushed and offered, "If you're uncomfortable, I can carry you instead." Lin Moyu smiled and shook his head. "It's all right, I'm used to it." Oh, Mu Shenxian felt a small twinge of disappointment, though she wasn't sure why. A large group of skeletal warriors carrying corpses led the way, with Lin Moyu and Mu Shenxian in the middle and the Lich generals bringing up the rear. What had taken over half an hour last time was now covered in less than 3 minutes. The corpses were no longer fresh, with at least half their health lost, but they were still usable. The flower of the earth's health was still substantial, even though most of it had been depleted, far greater than that of ordinary dungeon monsters. As a plant-type leader, its health was exceptional, and Lin Moyu eagerly anticipated the damage it could inflict. Soon, the archaic earth dragon appeared. The lava had yet to cool, and the boss's molten saliva continued to drip into the flowing lava. The boss barely reacted to the skeletons, lazily lifting its eyelids to glance at them. It noticed a large number of corpses flying toward it. What are those things? A hint of confusion flickered in its giant eyes. The next moment, a curse descended, followed by a series of violent explosions. The blast from the flower of the earth was particularly devastating, shattering the dragon's scales and tearing into its flesh. In the next moment, a curse descended, followed by violent explosions that sent shockwaves rippling through the air. The flower of the earth's blast was especially potent, shattering the archaic earth dragon's scales and ravaging its flesh. Amid the chaos, Mu Shenxian rushed in, used collection on the archaic earth dragon, and quickly retreated. The continuous explosions overwhelmed the boss, leaving it disoriented, its injuries worsening. If this continued, it would soon die. Suddenly, the archaic earth dragon spotted Lin Moyu amidst the explosions. It's him, that damned ant. But before it could retaliate, more skeletons appeared in its view. The skeletal mages launched focused attacks while the skeletal warriors hacked away relentlessly. A group of skeletons continued to hurl corpses, and Lin Moyu kept detonating them. Lin Moyu had prepared 200 corpses for this battle, and only half had been detonated so far. No matter how strong the archaic earth dragon's defense and traits were, Lin Moyu was confident it couldn't withstand 200 corpse explosions. The archaic earth dragon roared and leapt high, aiming a stomp at Lin Moyu. Skill: War Stomp. Lin Moyu remained calm, continuing to detonate the corpses. A single war stomp wasn't enough to break through his bone armor. Furthermore, the boss was at its limit, unable to hold on for much longer. The 1,690 skeletal mages unleashed a focused barrage, and the skeletal warriors launched desperate attacks. For the archaic earth dragon, who had reached its limit, these were fatal. Lin Moyu's bone armor shimmered under the war stomp, completely absorbing the impact. With a tap of his finger, he detonated several more corpses in quick succession. Amidst the deafening explosions, the archaic earth dragon collapsed with a thunderous crash, its eyes filled with unwillingness. The ant it had dismissed only allowed it one chance to attack. Killed archaic earth dragon, EXP plus 5,800,000. Obtained earth dragon bow. Obtained earth crystal. Obtained earth gem. Obtained heart of the earth. Obtained earth dragon bow through collection. Obtained earth crystal through collection. Obtained earth gem through collection. Obtained heart of the earth through collection. Earth dragon bow archer exclusive platinum rank weapon, all attributes plus 3,500, power of archer type skill increased by 90%. Skill: Extreme Evasion. Extreme Evasion. For 30 seconds, the host will evade 100% of attacks and take no damage. Earth dragon bow archer exclusive platinum rank weapon, all attributes plus 3,500, power of archer type skill increased by 90%. The earth dragon bow obtained through collection lacked the supplementary skill, leading Lin Moyu to wonder if it was a coincidence or a limitation of the collection skill. The extreme evasion skill was top tier, essentially granting an archer a second life. It was versatile, useful for both attacking and escaping. Mu Shenxian's eyes widened in surprise. It only took 37 minutes this time. That's so fast. The first raid had taken 4 hours, but the second one took only 37 minutes, a staggering difference. Lin Moyu calculated the remaining time. With 4 hours left, they could clear the dungeon at least 5 more times, yielding 4 hearts of the earth each time, with plenty of earth shards left over. Including the previous 2 raids, they could complete a total of 7 raids, gathering 28 to 30 hearts of the earth. For the next few centuries, the human race wouldn't lack earth knights. He applied bone armor to both himself and Mu Shenxian and cautioned, when we exit the dungeon, we might be attacked by the abyssal demons and Dragonkind. Don't panic. Just re-enter the dungeon immediately, I'll reset the cooldown right away. We need to clear the dungeon as many times as possible to gather more hearts of the earth. Mu Shenxian nodded firmly, got it. With Sister Yeyu here, they'll handle the abyssal demons and Dragonkind. Alright, let's go, Lin Moyu uttered. The two left the dungeon. To Lin Moyu's surprise, no one attacked them. Within seconds, he reset the dungeon, and they re-entered. The abyssal demons and Dragonkind were dumbfounded. What just happened? How did those two exit the dungeon so quickly? They had been inside for less than 40 minutes. Were they seeing things? Neither the abyssal demons, Dragonkind, nor humans could believe their eyes. No one could grasp what was going on. Zhang Hanshan muttered in disbelief, that fast. That's beyond efficient. Then a broad smile spread across his face. If that's the case, they can clear the dungeon 4 or 5 more times. The human race won't lack hearts of the earth for centuries. Earth Knights will surely emerge once more. ... The archaic earth dragon fell once more. Lin Moyu now had 5 earth gems, 5 earth crystals, and 13 hearts of the earth. Mu Shenxian was visibly excited. We were a minute faster this time, it took only 36 minutes. Lin Moyu made a sound of assent. There were still 3 hours and 18 minutes left. If everything went smoothly, they could complete 4 more runs, possibly even 5. Resources like earth gems, earth crystals, and hearts of the earth were invaluable. They exited the dungeon and immediately re-entered. The abyssal demons and Dragonkind outside were still in shock. Who would have thought that a dungeon of this caliber could be cleared by 2 people in less than 40 minutes? This was simply unbelievable. Is this guy really human? Could he be a reincarnated boss? Clearing the Earthirt dungeon in 40 minutes, has it gotten that easy? I don't believe it. He must be using some special item we don't know about. Whatever it is, we can't let him leave here alive. Don't worry, we've already made preparations. When he comes out next time, we'll make our move. He won't escape. The abyssal demons and Dragonkind plotted, their eyes filled with murderous intent as they stared at the dungeon entrance. Sensing the change in atmosphere, Zhang Hanshan growled, they're likely going to make a move. Everyone, get ready. We've been ready for a while. Let's indulge in some satisfying killing soon. The tension in the air was palpable, ready to explode into a full-scale battle at any moment. If not for the alliance between the demons and Dragonkind, the fighting would have already begun. Yet, even with their combined forces, the humans remained undaunted, ready to fight if necessary. On their 4th run, Lin Moyu and Mu Shenxian's coordination became even more precise. The monsters ahead were quickly cleared, and in just 30 minutes, they passed the 2nd section of the dungeon. The skeletons skillfully severed the flower of the earth's tentacles, carried its corpse up the cliff, and rushed toward the archaic earth dragon. Lin Moyu was still being carried by a skeleton, silently enduring the uncomfortable ride. Mu Shenxian smiled brightly, we're even faster this time. We might break the 35-minute mark. Lin Moyu acknowledged with a brief sound, but his thoughts were on the situation outside the dungeon. The abyssal demons and Dragonkind should be reacting soon. Suddenly, his eyes narrowed as he noticed something different. The archaic earth dragon was standing. Unlike before, the boss was fully awake. Why is it awake? Mu Shenxian muttered, puzzled. Something's wrong. A sense of foreboding surged in Lin Moyu's heart. Roar! A deafening bellow echoed throughout the dungeon. Chapter 277. Waiting for you in the center of the core area. A scream rang out but was cut short. A terrifying gust of wind sliced through the air like a blade, nearly shattering the bone armor. The skeletons and lich generals were hurled to the ground, unable to move. Mu Shenxian was also flung away and lay unconscious, or worse. The only one still standing was Lin Moyu. All of this chaos was merely caused by the roar of the archaic earth dragon. The boss appeared before Lin Moyu as if it had teleported, its enormous eyes fixating on him. A chill ran up his spine and shot into his brain, and every hair on his body stood on end. In those eyes, Lin Moyu saw intelligence and emotion. This archaic earth dragon was nothing like the ones he had faced before. What on earth had happened? The situation had spiraled beyond his understanding. You've gone too far. A thunderous voice rose, causing Lin Moyu's ears to ache. The boss had actually spoken. This was getting out of hand. The archaic earth dragon's eyes gleamed dangerously. There is a saying, one should not make the same action more than 3 times. How many times do you intend to kill me? Lin Moyu lifted his head, his mind racing. He had never encountered anything like this before. But then, a sudden realization struck him, weakened. Are you the real archaic earth dragon? He asked. What do you think? The archaic earth dragon snorted, sending 2 massive streams of air from its nostrils. The bone armor creaked again and then shattered. Lin Moyu didn't bother to recast bone armor. If mere air could shatter it, reapplying it would be pointless. There was no escape from this dungeon, all his escape items were ineffective. His intuition told him this boss was far more terrifying than the archaic Luaniao he had faced in the core area. The archaic earth dragon lowered its head, bringing its massive eyes even closer. Lin Moyu could see his own reflection in them. His mind raced. Honored elder, you seem to have violated the rules. Lin Moyu deduced that the archaic earth dragon in the dungeon was merely a clone, explaining the term, weakened, in its description. It was the same concept as the Shengxia Tower's main body and clone. Now, however, the main body of the archaic earth dragon had arrived. Despite the overwhelming situation, Lin Moyu had already calmed down, speaking with courage. What did you say? The boss's roar sent shockwaves through the dungeon, its power threatening to break through the entire structure. Outside, the dungeon entrance suddenly erupted in brilliant light. Everyone was startled, bewildered by the sudden glow. What was happening inside? No one knew. The three factions were at a standoff, with none daring to venture in and check. I hope Colonel Lin is okay. Zhang Hanshan mused. Jialin Yeyu was also worried, but her concern was for Mu Shenxian. Inside the dungeon, Lin Moyu kept his composure. I said you violated the rules. According to the level of the Earthiert dungeon, a being like you shouldn't appear here. He was now 80% sure the boss was a clone of the entity before him. The archaic earth dragon suddenly let out a thunderous laugh, shaking the dungeon again. Lin Moyu waited patiently. It seemed the terrifying entity before had no intention of killing him. After laughing for a while, the archaic earth dragon lowered its head and roared, I could burn you to ashes with a single breath. Lin Moyu shook his head, you won't kill me. Oh, the boss sounded surprised. If you wanted to kill me, you would have done it already. Lin Moyu continued, you wouldn't need to restrain my undead legions or knock out my teammate. My guess is you're here to give me a warning. As he spoke, Lin Moyu remained calm, showing no signs of fear. After all, the worst outcome was death, and that was nothing to fear. The archaic earth dragon laughed heartily, not bad at all. Lin Moyu had guessed correctly. He asked, is there anything else? The archaic earth dragon shook its large head, no, I just came to see what kind of person could make my clone suffer so badly. As Lin Moyu expected, it was indeed a clone. He said, I wonder. The archaic earth dragon interrupted him, saying in an overcast tone, all right, I have no intention of eating you. You've already guessed as much, so there's no need for me to pretend anymore. I came to make a deal with you. Lin Moyu uttered respectfully, please continue, elder. The archaic earth dragon rumbled, there's no rush. You're not qualified for this deal yet. When you reach the true center of the upper layer, I'll be waiting for you. Lin Moyu was surprised. You are. The archaic earth dragon didn't give an answer. I'll be waiting for you at the center. With those words, the boss dissolved into countless motes of starlight, just like the starlight Lin Moyu had seen after defeating monsters in the core area. The motes shimmered briefly before vanishing completely. Moments later, a vortex appeared before him, signaling the end of the dungeon. Lin Moyu sighed with relief. Thankfully, the other party hadn't intended to kill him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have survived. He suspected the puppet talisman he had received from Bai Yiyuan might have been useless against such a powerful entity. If I'm right, that should be the boss stationed at the center of the upper layer's core area. It unexpectedly possesses intelligence. This isn't just a regular boss. He thought of the archaic Luaniao, which also seemed to have some intelligence, though it was childlike compared to the archaic earth dragon's adult-level intelligence. Could it be that because it has lived for countless years without being killed, it developed intelligence? Or is it something to do with the light in the core area? I'll have to go to the center of the core area sooner or later. And when I do, I'll take my revenge. The archaic Luaniao had relentlessly chased him, and Lin Moyu couldn't possibly forget that. While he was deep in thought, the Lich generals and skeletons gradually recovered. They hadn't been injured, only restrained, yet another testament to the archaic earth dragon's overwhelming power. With a soft moan, Mu Shenxian woke up. She touched her head and asked, what happened? Lin Moyu shook his head, lying with a straight face, the dungeon mutated, and then the boss disappeared. Huss. Mu Shenxian couldn't believe it. Dungeon mutations were extremely rare. She had only heard of it and never expected to encounter it herself. She only remembered reaching the archaic earth dragon, hearing its roar, and then blacking out. After mutation, some dungeons became much more dangerous, with bosses leveling up drastically. Even with Lin Moyu's strength, he could be in real danger. The memory of the archaic Luaniao was still fresh in her mind. "Are you all right?" she asked urgently. "I'm fine," Lin Moyu reassured her. Mu Shenxian patted her chest in relief. "As long as you're fine, that's all that matters." Lin Moyu then said, "The dungeon is finished, we should deal with the ones outside now." Mu Shenxian exclaimed, "It won't appear again. It was gone, it won't show up again. It was merely a clone of that great being. Even if it appeared before him again, Lin Moyu wouldn't dare to kill it." Lin Moyu equipped both himself and Mu Shenxian with bone armor and activated an earth gem. He had 5 left, and one of them was set aside for Shi Xing'an. The gem emitted an earthy yellow light that enveloped him, granting a 50% reduction in physical damage. Although he didn't acquire a physical type skill, he was mentally prepared for this outcome and wasn't disappointed. As a mage type, the physical skill wouldn't be particularly useful to him anyway. "I'm curious, if you used your group collection skill on abyssal demons and Dragonkind, what would you obtain?" Lin Moyu asked quietly. Mu Shenxian shook her head, "I don't know. I've never tried it. If there's a chance later, you should test it out." Okay, Lin Moyu had been half joking, but Mu Shenxian took it seriously. Chapter 278, Protect Lin Moyu. After the archaic earth dragon departed, the glow outside the dungeon dissipated, and everything returned to normal. The people waiting outside remained on high alert until a slight distortion in space occurred, and 2 figures appeared at the dungeon entrance. "They're out. Get started." At the signal, both the abyssal demons and Dragonkind went to work. Although it took only 2 seconds from exiting the dungeon to completing teleportation, it was enough time to mount a strike. A burst of light exploded in the air, and a massive barrier instantly appeared, enveloping everyone inside. The abyssal demons, expert in barrier creation, rendering even advanced random teleportation talismans ineffective within their barrier. The consensus among the 2 factions was clear: Lin Moyu had to die. "Protect Lin Moyu," Zhang Hanshan shouted as the assault began. Over 100 human class users, fully prepared, charged forward without hesitation. Zhang Hanshan, leading the charge, activated his charge skill, reaching the dungeon entrance first. Skill: Mass Protection. A firm, glowing shield materialized, blocking the initial wave of attacks. Massive flaming meteors rained down from the sky, launched by over 20 Dragonkind mages. Arrows and the abyss's power descended like a storm of swords, causing violent explosions. Despite the onslaught, the human class users pressed forward. Mages and archers unleashed ranged attacks, targeting the demons and Dragonkind. But the other party could fly, putting the humans at a disadvantage. Zhang Hanshan's shield shattered under the strain, but a second shield quickly took its place as Jialan Yeyu arrived just half a beat after him. However, under the meteor barrage, the shield shattered almost instantly. Exchanging a determined glance, Zhang Hanshan and Jialan Yeyu raised the shields in their hands, standing protectively in front of Lin Moyu and Mu Shenxian. They would defend them at all costs. Suddenly, a white light enveloped the 2, and bone armor appeared, blocking all the attacks. "Thank you," Lin Moyu's voice rang out. "You're welcome," Zhang Hanshan chuckled, knowing that as long as they blocked the first wave of attacks, the battle's outcome was sealed. But the abyssal demons and Dragonkind didn't understand this yet, still shouting furiously. "He's out, kill him, don't let him take the heart of the earth back. Kill them all, leave no humans alive." Lin Moyu sneered and said to Zhang Hanshan, "Bring them down." Zhang Hanshan nodded and shouted, "Flight restriction." The Shadow Mage in Zhang Hanshan's party raised her stave, and a beam of light exploded in the air, forming a flight restriction field. The abyssal demons and Dragonkind plummeted from the sky. "This is bad, they have a mage with a flight restriction skill." "So what, we can still kill them after we land. The flight restriction will last a minute at most, no need to worry." The 2 factions bellowed, showing no fear. But suddenly, undead legions materialized on the ground, one after another, 13 legions totaling 4,290 skeletons, brimming with murderous intent. "Why are there so many? How does he have so many summoned creatures? It's like an army. Now I understand how he cleared the dungeon so quickly, he used sheer numbers to push through. The flight restriction will end in a minute, then we'll be fine." The abyssal demons and Dragonkind finally realized how Lin Moyu had managed to clear the dungeon, and in under 40 minutes no less. It wasn't through trickery, but sheer strength. By then, however, it was too late for regrets, they were doomed. Lin Moyu wouldn't give them a chance to recover. The abyssal demons and Dragonkin fell into the cold embrace of the undead legions. A sudden heat flared on the back of Lin Moyu's hand, followed by an explosive surge of power. Skill. Enhanced troops. A beautiful light descended, strengthening all the skeletons. Simultaneously, Mu Shenxian activated her group collection skill, and dazzling fireworks lit up the sky, catching more than half of the abyssal demons and Dragonkin in their glow. What is this? Why are we glowing? Their confusion was cut short as the skeletal warriors and skeletal mages unleashed their skills. The damage caused by the skeletal warriors was immense, and screams echoed across the battlefield, soon drowned out by the magic spells. In just a few seconds, the battlefield fell silent. With enhanced troops activated, there was no need for corpse explosion, the sheer power of the skeletal warriors exceeded all expectations. Lin Moyu had once used enhanced troops to obliterate an abyssal fire sprite instantly, so these ordinary demons and Dragonkin stood no chance. As Zhang Hanshan had anticipated, the moment Lin Moyu stepped in, the battle's outcome was decided. A flood of notifications surged, and Lin Moyu's express and military merit skyrocketed. The over 300 abyssal demons and Dragonkin, all above level 50, were worth nearly 700,000 military merit. Lin Moyu and Mu Shenxian split the military merit evenly. The military badges of the two people glowed brightly. A star appeared on Lin Moyu's colonel badge, promoting him to a 1-star colonel. Mu Shenxian's 3-star lieutenant badge transformed into a colonel badge, though without a star yet. Instead of celebrating her promotion, Mu Shenxian turned to Lin Moyu. "Wow, you've leveled up." Indeed, Lin Moyu, enveloped in white light, had reached level 34. After numerous dungeon raids and defeating powerful enemies, he had leveled up even though he shared the express with Mu Shenxian. For most class users, leveling up once after level 30 took 2 to 3 months. But since Lin Moyu had started fighting without holding back, it took him just over 20 days to progress from level 31 to level 34, an exceptionally fast pace. Not only did he level up, but he also discovered that his corpse explosion skill had advanced to level 5. Corpse explosion level 5 detonate a corpse and deal 30% of the corpse's health as damage to enemies within a radius of 5 meters. With his talent's amplification, the skill's damage range expanded to 200 meters, and the damage increased to 12 times the corpse's health. Lin Moyu realized he could devastate entire core area with enough corpses. However, he quickly dismissed the idea, knowing there were no corpses in the core area. Corpses couldn't be brought into the core area either, as their health would deplete within minutes, rendering them useless. To maximize the power of corpse explosion, fresh corpses were essential. The skeletons began looting the equipment from the fallen Dragonkin class users. Dragonkin gear was valuable for materials, even if it couldn't be directly used by humans. As Lin Moyu reviewed the massive amount of notifications, a curious look appeared in his eyes. So collection works on demons too. Obtained Demon Core Fragment through collection. Demon Core Fragment. After usage, the user will be enveloped in demonic aura for 1 hour. Obtained Elementary Dragonkin Blood Essence through collection. Elementary Dragonkin Blood Essence can be used to concoct potions or craft battlefield equipment. At first glance, Demon Core Fragments seemed trivial, merely shrouding the user in demonic aura. But Lin Moyu saw its potential. If he ever ventured into the abyssal world, it could prove invaluable. Typically, killing demons only yielded demon blood essence, but using the collection skill also provided demon core fragments. Dragonkin blood essence was another matter. Unlike the Dragonkin monsters on the dimensional battlefield, where they dropped items upon defeat, Lin Moyu received nothing from killing Dragonkin users on the immemorial battlefield. Initially, he thought they simply didn't drop anything, but now it seemed that using collection was key for them to drop items. Lin Moyu realized the immense value of rare class users like Mu Shenxian, not only in dungeons but also on the battlefield. In the human faction, everyone except Zhang Hanshan and a few others was left stunned. What had appeared to be a fierce battle was over in the blink of an eye. What skill had Lin Moyu used? How had his skeletons become so formidable? These were the questions that filled the minds of many. The skeletons were not only many in number, but they were also incredibly strong. Otherwise, ending the battle in mere seconds would have been impossible. Suddenly, someone pointed at Lin Moyu and shouted, "It's a primordial rune skill." That's right, look at the glow on the back of his left hand, it's a primordial rune character. No wonder. Every primordial rune is incredibly powerful. If used properly, one can unleash dozens of times the usual combat power in a short period. I'm so envious. He's only level 33. No, level 34 now. He's only level 34, and he already obtained a primordial rune. I'm envious too. I've been on the immemorial battlefield for years and haven't even seen a primordial rune. Ha, even if you had seen one, could you have kept it? The crowd buzzed with admiration for Lin Moyu. Over 300 abyssal demons in Dragonkind, all above level 50, had been wiped out so easily. Even though he had the help of a primordial rune, Lin Moyu's immense strength was undeniable. Chapter 279. If it happens again, you'll lose that eye of yours. Lin Moyu reviewed his spoils from the Earthirt dungeon. He had raided the dungeon 3 times successfully, but the 4th attempt was cut short by the sudden appearance of the archaic Earth Dragon's main body. With Mu Shenxian accompanying him, Express was halved, but all other rewards were doubled. He had acquired 6 Earth Gems, 6 Earth Crystals, and 14 Hearts of the Earth. Lin Moyu and Mu Shenxian each used an Earth Gem. Additionally, Lin Moyu utilized 2 Earth Crystals, one to create a 3-element elemental divine stone with fire, poison, and earth elements, and another to craft a 2-element elemental stone combining earth and fire elements. He still had 4 Earth Gems and 4 Earth Crystals remaining. The Hearts of the Earth remained untouched, as they were strategic resources valuable to humanity but of no immediate use to him. Since entering the immemorial battlefield, Lin Moyu had encountered numerous special opportunities, greatly enhancing his combat power. Bai Yiyuan had been right. Although the battlefield was perilous, it was filled with opportunities. His divinity force had risen to level 34, promising an additional 34% boost to his attributes upon his next level up. Lin Moyu didn't fully understand why divinity force could influence the probability of class sublimation, but he knew that the earlier one obtained it, the better. Mu Shenxian returned to Jialin Yeyu's party, while Lin Moyu, as usual, continued on his own. Dungeon running with Lin Moyu had been an exhilarating and thrilling experience for Mu Shenxian, leaving her somewhat addicted to the speed and efficiency. As she watched Lin Moyu leave, she couldn't help but feel a pang of reluctance. Missing him already? Jialin Yeyu teased, leaning in with a playful smile. Startled, Mu Shenxian blushed, whispering, "No way. Sister Yeyu, don't tease me." Jialin Yeyu laughed, "Oh, our little Shenxian is blushing." Her teasing brought good-natured laughter from the other members of the Yeyu Knights, who looked at Mu Shenxian with amused smiles. "It's not like that," Mu Shenxian protested, embarrassed. "I just find his dungeon-running style unique and exciting, and his speed is incredible." Intrigued, Jialin Yeyu asked, "Tell us about his style." The women gathered around Mu Shenxian, eager to hear how Lin Moyu had managed to clear the Earthirt dungeon in under 40 minutes, when the best recorded time was over 6 hours with a team of more than 20. Mu Shenxian, not holding back, shared the details. As she spoke, she clutched a teleportation stone Lin Moyu had given her, a point teleportation stone with bilateral positioning. She and Lin Moyu had agreed to notify each other if they found the demonic Dragon Hall dungeon. She eagerly anticipated raiding dungeons with Lin Moyu and experiencing the thrill of speedrunning again. Lin Moyu departed under the respectful gazes of those around. The Earthirt dungeon had vanished, likely due to the whims of the powerful entity located at the center of the core area. Its reappearance was uncertain and would depend entirely on the entity's mood. Once again, he set out in search of the demonic Dragon Hall dungeon, a mission given to him by Bai Yiyuan in a personal pursuit. Talent awakening was notoriously difficult, and Lin Moyu wasn't sure if the talent provided by the system counted. Even with Bai Yiyuan's preparations, the odds of awakening a talent during the second-class advancement were only about 30%. Therefore, acquiring Dragon Crystal from the demonic Dragon Hall was crucial. This crystal provided a chance to obtain a talent, ensuring that even if he didn't awaken a talent during his class advancement, it wouldn't be a total loss. Lin Moyu quickened his pace, recalling what godly mage Shuyan had told him. He hoped for the emergence of another 3-talent godly powerhouse among humans. One was enough to protect humanity for centuries and deter the abyssal demons in Dragonkind from acting up. Of course, all 3 talents would need to be formidable. As Lin Moyu advanced, he summoned skeletons to replenish and fill his undead legions. Now at level 34, the number of Lich generals he could command had increased to 14, and the number of skeletons they could lead had grown to 340. He chose skeletal mages to reinforce his legions, bringing the total number of skeletons to 4,760, nearly 500 more than at level 33. He was confident that with his enhanced troops skill, he could handle most bosses, except those with the ability to fly and super strong combat power like the archaic Luaniao. The inability to fly remained a significant disadvantage for most human class users below level 70. After 10 days of travel, Lin Moyu finally completed the reinforcement of his undead legions. When released, the 14 legions presented a formidable force. He continued his journey, dealing with monsters along the way. As he neared the core area, the number of monsters increased, and though the express gained here wasn't as much as from a dungeon, it was still decent. During those 10 days, he hadn't encountered any secret realms or dungeons but had faced several waves of abyssal demons and Dragonkind. The Dragonkind, not known for their intelligence, were easily deceived and eliminated. The abyssal demons, however, proved more troublesome. Some fled upon seeing the one-star colonel badge on Lin Moyu's shoulder, recognizing that anyone who had reached that military rank had undoubtedly spilled much of their kind's blood. Lin Moyu didn't bother to chase them. News of Lin Moyu's exploits spread across the immemorial battlefield. Both abyssal demons and Dragonkind, as well as humans, became aware of his existence. Some abyssal demons even relayed the news back to the abyssal world. Many demons in the abyssal world learned that a level 34 powerhouse had attained the rank of one-star colonel. Killing him would be a significant achievement, but no demon was eager to face him. The abyssal world wasn't a monotonous black void, it was illuminated by green flames and populated by strange creatures like lilite birds, which flew through the sky, emitting light as they went. These creatures weren't demons or demonic creatures, but simple creatures inhabiting the abyssal world, and the demons didn't bother them as there was no benefit in doing so. Outside the magnificent palace of the succubus queen, the space distorted and rippled as a massive fire burst from the darkness. Within the flames, a giant eye opened. The fire demon king had arrived outside the succubus queen's palace, his voice filled with fury. "Succubus queen, come out." His voice boomed, causing the entire palace to tremble. The succubus queen appeared in the air, looking both sleepy and annoyed. "Fire, do you know the consequences of disturbing my sleep?" The fire flickered, as if backing away. The fire demon king tried to maintain his bravado. "I don't care about consequences. Tell me, did you know Lin Moyu was on the immemorial battlefield?" The succubus queen yawned. "I did. So what?" The fire demon king continued to ask. "Then why didn't you tell me?" "You knew." The succubus queen laughed seductively. "How amusing. I did know, but why should I tell you? What are you to me? Unless you spend a night with me, I'm not obliged to tell you anything." The fire flickered more violently, and the fire demon king retreated 100 meters. The succubus queen said with a lovely smile, "Such little backbone, yet you dare provoke me. I'll forgive you this time, but if it happens again, you'll lose that eye of yours." Anger flashed in the giant eye, but the fire demon king didn't dare retort. Though they both were demon kings, he knew he was no match for her. If a fight broke out, he would undoubtedly lose his eye. However, he still needed to save face, saying forcefully, "Since you knew Lin Moyu was on the immemorial battlefield, why haven't you sent someone to take him out?" The succubus queen smiled sweetly. "How do you know I haven't? In fact, I sent a crimson moon demon and an abyssal fire sprite, but they both failed. If you're so eager, why don't you handle it yourself instead of bothering me?" The fire demon king said solemnly, "I need information." The succubus queen knew what he wanted, details on Lin Moyu's skills, attributes, and weaknesses. Despite her disdain for him, basic courtesy among demon kings had to be observed. She tossed him a black stone. "Everything you want is in there. Now, I'm going back to sleep. Don't disturb me again, or you'll regret it." With that, the succubus queen vanished, leaving the fire demon king alone. Holding the black stone, he didn't dare say another word and disappeared with a pop. Chapter 280. Is he planning to trap me here until I die? Lin Moyu had lost track of how far he had walked, tens of thousands of kilometers, perhaps even 100,000. On the immemorial battlefield, there was no concept of day or night. Without the time displayed on his communicator, he wouldn't have known how long he'd been there. He continued along the outer edge of the core area. The upper layer of the battlefield was divided into 3 regions, with the core area being the largest and most dangerous. Lin Moyu had no intention of venturing into it again unless absolutely necessary. His skeletons cleared the path ahead, wiping out monsters as they went. The monsters on the immemorial battlefield seemed endless. Once killed, they would turn into starlight, only to be replaced by new ones that descended from the sky in shooting stars, a cycle that had persisted for countless years. Lin Moyu found this both fascinating and puzzling. The immemorial battlefield shared some similarities with the dimensional battlefield but was also distinctly different. The dimensional battlefield was a product of a long war between the human race and the abyssal world, with a history that could be traced. In contrast, the origin of the immemorial battlefield was shrouded in mystery, its existence predating human history by eons. He recalled a conversation between Bai Yiyuan and Meng Anwen. Meng Anwen had shown particular interest in the secrets of the immemorial battlefield, but circumstances had prevented him from pursuing them. Bai Yiyuan had warned him against it, as those who sought out these secrets had never returned. The human race had lost several godly powerhouses in this way, a loss it could no longer afford. From their conversation, Lin Moyu learned that uncovering the secrets of the immemorial battlefield required venturing into the deep layer. The battlefield was divided into 3 layers: upper, lower, and deep. According to the map Bai Yiyuan had shown, these layers were structured like a sandwich. The upper layer was for creatures below level 70, the lower for those between level 70 and level 89, and the deep layer for those above level 90, godly powerhouses. The deep layer was the most central and most dangerous part of the immemorial battlefield. Someday, I'll go take a look. Feeling a surge of anticipation, Lin Moyu muttered to himself. A faint light flickered at his fingertip, and a skeletal mage appeared beside him. 5 days ago, Lin Moyu had leveled up again, reaching level 35 and summoning his 15th Undead Legion. He was now working hard to fill its ranks. Fortunately, his spirit force recovered quickly enough that even without meditation, it would take just 7 or 8 days to fully stock the legion. The 15 Undead Legions, comprised of 5,250 skeletons, were incredibly powerful. At level 35, the 4 attributes of the skeletal warriors had reached 60,000, while the skeletal mages' spirit attribute had soared to 110,000. With the status buffs provided by the Lich Generals, the skeletal warriors' attributes would reach 78,000, and the skeletal mages' spirit attribute would exceed 140,000. Each level up brought a significant increase in power. I still have 4 levels left. If I haven't found the demonic dragon hall by level 39, I'll have to go back. Lin Moyu thought as he gazed into the distance. At level 39, he would need to prepare for his second-class awakening. If he hadn't found the demonic dragon hall by then, he would have to use the mermaid's tear and hope to awaken a new talent during the second-class awakening. He would also need to prepare for class sublimation, which would add a significant degree of difficulty. The demonic dragon hall remained his first choice, and he had 4 levels left to search. However, after reaching level 35, leveling had slowed significantly. It would now take nearly 10 days to gain 1 level. Lin Moyu knew his leveling speed was faster than most, but compared to his sister, Lin Mohan, he was incredibly slow. Her leveling speed shattered all previous records of the human race. Lin Moyu knew that her talent accelerated her leveling speed. It was an extraordinary talent that could be upgraded. While most people's leveling speed slowed as they progressed, it was different with Lin Mohan. Her leveling speed actually seemed to increase. Sister is likely to become the youngest godly powerhouse in human history. Lin Moyu thought, confident in his prediction. As he pondered, his skeletal warriors killed another monster, earning him 1,000,000 express. The faint light at his fingertip continued to flicker, and another skeletal mage appeared beside him, which he placed into the summon space as backup. Now that the 15 undead legions had been filled, Lin Moyu was replenishing the reserves in the summon space. Suddenly, a unique aura emanated from the distance. It was a mix of Dragonkind bloodline aura, but it felt strange. The aura wasn't just Dragonkind, it also carried traces of abyssal demon and dungeon energies. Demonic Dragon Hall. Lin Moyu's eyes lit up with elation. The aura matched Bai Yiyuan's description. After searching for so many days, he had finally found it. Without hesitation, Lin Moyu set off. The distance wasn't far, just over 100 kilometers. It wouldn't take long to get there. A few minutes later, Lin Moyu suddenly stopped, his expression serious. Something's wrong. There was no light descending from the sky, no strange vision. In his excitement over sensing the aura, he had overlooked a crucial detail. Whenever the demonic Dragon Hall dungeon appeared, it was always accompanied by an extraordinary vision that spanned thousands of kilometers, attracting large numbers of people from all 3 races, inevitably leading to a great battle. But at this moment, only the aura was present, no vision. There are two possibilities. Either the demonic Dragon Hall dungeon hasn't fully formed yet, and the vision still hasn't been triggered, or what lies ahead isn't the demonic Dragon Hall at all. As he pondered, Lin Moyu saw a burst of light in the distance, forming a vast expanse of multicolored clouds that illuminated the surroundings. The multicolored clouds covered a large area, and within them, Lin Moyu saw a dungeon vortex taking shape. The vision had appeared, the dungeon was forming, and the aura was correct. Just as he thought about it, it appeared, a coincidence, or something more. Lin Moyu felt uneasy but knew he had to investigate. He was now less than 20 kilometers away from the multicolored clouds. In just a few minutes, he arrived directly beneath them. His fingertip glowed faintly. Lin Moyu's first instinct was to use the detection spell to investigate. This was the typical response of human class users. The detection spell landed on the dungeon vortex within the multicolored clouds. The clouds dispersed with the wind, completely vanishing before Lin Moyu's eyes, along with the dungeon vortex inside. A massive barrier quickly formed, trapping Lin Moyu inside. A barrier. This was the doing of abyssal demons. Sure enough, his sixth sense had been right, something was wrong. On the ground, a hexagonal crystal glowed faintly. The demonic Dragon Hall's aura emanated from it. The detection spell landed on the crystal. Dragon crystal already used has a chance to awaken a talent after use. So it was a dragon crystal, but it had already been used and was now useless. Someone had used a special method to stimulate its aura, luring him into a trap. Ha ha ha, a mad laughter echoed in the air. Lin Moyu creased his eyebrows, then relaxed them. The voice was familiar, an old acquaintance. Fire Demon King, so it's you. Lin Moyu appeared calm on the surface, but internally, he was on high alert. A giant eye, burning with intense flames, appeared in the sky. It was just a projection, not the main body or a clone. Under the rules of the immemorial battlefield's upper layer, whether it was the Fire Demon King or the Succubus Queen, they could only send projections to the upper layer at most. If they could send clones, Lin Moyu might be in real danger. Understanding this, Lin Moyu wasn't afraid or worried. The Fire Demon King's voice echoed within the barrier, Lin Moyu, you're dead this time. Lin Moyu noticed an unusual confidence in the Fire Demon King's tone. He had no idea where it came from. There were no demons or bosses around, just an empty space in the barrier. Is he planning to trap me here until I die? Lin Moyu speculated. The Fire Demon King continued, enjoy your final moments. You'll be erased completely. I'll watch as you turn into an idiot, an imbecile, then get killed and dismembered. So what if you're a human genius? In front of me, you're nothing but trash. With a thought, Lin Moyu summoned his undead legions, which surrounded him protectively. He waited, his expression solemn, to see what the Fire Demon King had in store. After luring him here without arranging any monsters, what was he up to? What gave him the confidence to kill him? Everything felt off. Mist began to form within the barrier, thin and barely noticeable unless one looked closely. By the time Lin Moyu realized his vision had changed, the entire barrier was already filled with a thin layer of mist. The Fire Demon King's eye was also shrouded in the mist, becoming hazy.